Hey, we love that umbrella guy. All right. Thank you.
I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem under the name ThatUmbrellaGuy. I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me. I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. I told him to call me. I'm a man.
And we're back on the hat rack, baby. Population, army of one. Cruising the whip, striking out satirically, masked up, wrecking your arguments empirically. You got bench slapped, and now it's off to the begging. The law's not woodwork, so what's up with the pegging? It's all free flow, coming down your drive, dropping nuclear mics on my next in live, sir. Do you swim? No, not by miles. Fully submerged within all your denials. And where's your records? Where's the transparency? Just how many fools will you grip for free? You recruited clowns, and all by mail. Might want to save some coins for the big top sale. Does the weather forecast? Oh, the storms are mounting, and you're like Sesame Street without any accounting. You all took aim, but hey, you missed them, cause even hit men can't save your ecosystem. So riddle me this, are you all magicians? Because there's reports of viniums and evidence disappearing. But that can't be right, can it? I mean, surely everyone would know better than to take down information while they're being sued, information they wanted to blindside others with. Surely that's just sleight of hand and not criminality, right? 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 Right?
Right. Hey, how's it going today? Man, you know what? I thought about this today, doing something strange. I actually thought about being on time and saying it was a Christmas miracle, but then I didn't. I'm just playing. How's it going, everybody? I hope you're doing great, right? Right? Are you in the know or are you in the no? Oh, I'm sorry. I hope it's going great today, by the way. I hope you are having a wonderful holiday season. If you're not having a wonderful holiday season, now you are, because you are here and you are not allowed not to have one, baby. Oh, man. I hope it's great, though, for real. It is absolutely freezing out here today. I'm stunned by how cold it is, like up inside my house here. I've been watching some. By the way, let me show you this. This has nothing to do with the subject today, but I always love debunking stuff that people do online. You know, when people are out there trying to make up something. So in the last few days, you have all this stuff about Blake Lively. Amber Heard sounds off on it. Somebody starts posting, people will post for clout, and I love it when people screw themselves up. So this person here is like, hey, fun fact. Now this is funny. So check this out. Fun fact. Shortly after Johnny Depp's win in court, my friend who worked in a hotel had to deal with him as a guest. You know, he smashed the room, all while the public was cheering for his win against her. Okay. So that gives you a time frame, right? You can see when they're claiming that it happened. So they say, yeah, I'm going to supply proof of it. And they put up this article, and this article is actually from Hungary in 2023, a year after the trial. And somebody's like, wait a minute, that's not close to the trial at all. And this person's like, oh wait, my memory's not that good. Well, your memory was supposed to be good enough that people were cheering on right after a trial, right? And yet, I mean, they just got themselves debunked. And this, it's fascinating. I was looking through the comments, and there's so many weird bot comments too. Look at this. Check this out. This is Twitter these days, though. I mean, it's amazing how many people just believe stupid. And give me a minute. I'm trying to find some of these bot comments there. So there's all these bots that post this up, and it's easy to catch these botted comments because you'll find quotes that look about the same popping up over and over again that say things like, that sounds intense and surprising. It's an interesting contrast between public perception, private behavior, highlighting celebrity complexities. And you'll find comments that are, the same thing. they're stated just a tiny bit different. And they're almost they're almost always from the same country. They're from a bot farm. So these statements like this are being botted up. And you can see it. The numbers that they put on there, it's wild. It's wild to see. What that tells you these days is there are all these freaking PR pushes. Oh, it's a thing about PR pushes. You have heard come in and say, yeah, this PR thing actually attacked me, while while her PR seems to go hog wild on it, by the way. This is the way that this goes. Check this out. Just want to show you this here. Her PR is going hog wild. This is what PR looks like right here. While you have posts that are being botted up, which is either somebody privately trying to kick up their stuff, or they're part of a bot campaign. It's so crazy watching this stuff happen these days. That's what people compete against. It's amazing. Let's look at a couple of super chats. We're going to talk about some stuff. By the way, I saw something. Let me just say something. There's a video. I don't want to ruin this, okay? I do and I don't. There's a video that was put up by What the Hales. It's talking about George and everything they've gone through. Watch the end of it. I think a lot of people from the comments didn't go all the way to the end, because there's something toward the end that is really good news. So I want to encourage you to watch the video. Let's put it that way. If you want to go through something, you want to see how things have gone there, plus you want to actually see something positive toward the end there, watch it. Watch it for sure. Let me say thanks to some people here too. This is crazy. And by the way, Christmas Eve here. Is that Merry pre-Christmas or pre-Merry Christmas? By the way, which one would be correct? It's been bothering me all day. As stupid as that sounds. Is that Merry pre-Christmas or pre-Merry Christmas? Anyway, Ray, what's up, Ray? There, the ball python king, man. That's actually cool, man. I have a couple of friends that, oh Lord, they have so many snakes. It's absolutely insane. I have spiders here, so that's awesome, man. Thanks for the 5 gifted memberships. Appreciate that. Thank you very much there. Rebel Bird, what's up, Rebel? Thank you for the 10 gifted memberships. I've been watching these fall in like it's going out of style. So thank you all here. L. Lou, thank you for 5 gifted memberships as well. Thank you for that. I appreciate that as well. Green Veggie Beast threw a 10 there. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good breadstick. Indeed. Santa loves breadsticks. Gotta cook them up, make them look like Christmas trees. That's what I hear. Look at all these freaking gifted memberships too there. Ray, also another 5 there. Thank you. Like I said, Ray, thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. Darren, thank you for 5 gifted memberships. Appreciate that. Thank you very much on that. Bugs Adventures, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships too. This is crazy. Look at this. Ninja Puppy, thanks for 5 gifted memberships. Wow, there. And Nikki also said, hey, Merry Christmas, Tug, Logan, Bug, and 310 gifted memberships too. It's like gifted memberships are raining down in this. It's wild there. Chris, thanks for the 2 there. Merry Christmas to Tug and family from New Zealand. Man, hey, thank you. Appreciate you all. I know some of you all are, it is Christmas for you already. So thank you. Appreciate you all. Cunning Linguist is like, bah humbug. Love it. I'd Rabbit, thanks for the 9 there. Merry Christmas, Tug, Lug, Bug, and Chat. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Cunning Linguist also. At least I've got you all. Hey, yeah, man, for sure. You know, like I said, that's one of the reasons I like doing live streams with holidays. People forget sometimes holidays can be hard for people. You know, and heck, we do indeed. I've had some rough holidays myself, you know, with family and not having them around and stuff. And yeah, you always have those people though. Again, you appreciate. I've had some, you folks have been around when I've had bad days, bad weeks, bad months. So thank you all. By the way, I watched the kids today. Kids going crazy. Oh Lord, I went over and visited family. We hung out, like a small group of people that I had to go with, and the kids, you know, they got presents and stuff. The littlest one got 4 little mini Care Bears, and holy, you would have thought that she won the lottery or something. He was like, I wanted these. It was funny. Oh my God. Cracked me up today. Ryder Chick, what's up? Thanks for the 5 there. Thank you, Tug. You know why? And it meant a lot. I appreciate you. Like I said there, so proud to be a Tug. Bug. Merry Christmas to you. Lug and Bug. And indeed, you know, what you say too. I'll say it that way. And I very much appreciate you. You know, very much. I'm glad you're here. Sure. Ryder Chick also, thank you for the gifted membership. Appreciate that. Green Veg Beast, thanks for the 10. You two need a taser alarm watches. That way, after you pick yourself up on the floor, you know what time to start. Actually, you know, one of the reasons I don't start right on time, honestly, is because you spend 10 minutes at the beginning of a live stream with everyone being like, hey, just got here. Like, what's happening? So you give people like 8 minutes to start, and you cut all of that out. You cut the repetition of topic out. You will cover it again a little bit, but man, you really cut down on how many times you have to tell people the same thing. And that's not a negative statement toward people. I account for it at the beginning of my live streams. After doing that for a couple of years, I'm just like, hey, people arrive about 8 minutes late. So if you start right there, you give it a couple minutes buffer for the intro, you're good to go. That's the way I look at live streams. But a lot of times too, these days we've had all kinds of weird difficulties with stuff. So I didn't had to put that in there that way. But that's one of the reasons I like to. I start a few minutes late. I usually add 5 minutes, and then there's always something that slows me down. I get 3 more minutes added on. Jules, thanks for the 5. Merry Christmas to you and the girls. Thank you, Jules. Appreciate that. Lisa, thanks for the 10. Merry Christmas, Tug, and everyone. Thank you there. You keep adding to the unemployment fund. Thank you very much. I appreciate that too. Angel Quinn, thanks for the 20 there. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Your streams all holidays have been much to me over the past 2 years. Stay amazing. Thank you for being here for all of us. Hey, thank you all for being here too. You all are also here, you know, so we're all hanging out together. We're just having fun. Max Lab notes. See, I'm not spoiling anything there. Tug, great news. George, cancer free. Yes, you need to watch that video. Like I said, great note on there. I'm not the one spoiling it there. But no, it is a very good video because it charts what people have to go through, and people go through a lot, quite a lot. And I mean, you never know. And George ended up getting some good news. There was also some very interesting news that came up today that happened in a members only chat, talking about certain haters and certain developments there. I thought that was interesting too. Oh, by the way, there was a denial of something happening yesterday. Actually, the ye old haters decided to there would be denials of Lynette Preston yelling at the child and telling them they would have to go to the shed during that, what did they call it? The HG Christmas live stream. So that's actually in the video. It's at like 42 minutes, 42, I think 30, right in there. You can hear it. I clipped it myself, but yeah, we'll talk about that on another Rumble stream. We'll actually have a clip of it, but it's very clear in the background. You can actually hear it. You can very much hear it. Can you imagine too, throwing a little kid get together where it's supposed to be all about a kid, and during that somebody saying, gonna vanquish little kid to the shed, act right or else. It's like, wow. There's just a lot of crazy there, but apparently there were denials of that. So it's right there in the stream. It's very, very easily heard. So yeah, you don't believe it's there, go and check it out. It's at 42 minutes, I believe. Like I said, just right around the 42:30 mark. You can hear it right in the background. Listen on 2 times speed, just so you don't have to listen to the find your exact spot there. Yeah. Like I said, it's very, very telling. And when I say that, don't contact any authorities. It's not going to help. It's a sad statement, but that's very true. You know, it's funny too. Let me show you this stuff. So I've been damnable freaking Facebook. I hate Facebook, by the way. I absolutely hate Facebook. Let me say this. I have marked the stuff that I was going to cover 3 times already today. And Facebook, for some stupid reason, keeps resetting this. And it makes me annoyed that it keeps doing this stuff. Because, you know, over the last, it's taken me about, I guess it's been so crazy. It's taken me about 2 weeks to go back. Actually, it's taken me almost 3 weeks to go back and to hit everything that's happened in the Shara realm. So you actually have quite a bit of it that's built up. It's kind of funny, like, because I've just been, so I'll hit all super chats that come in too. I hit some of them. Let me pull up something here though first. Let me make sure I'm logging onto the right one. Where is that? Give me 1 second. I'm making sure that I got the right one here. Okay, that's the right one right there. Oh, that video, by the way, that I was saying to check out. You know, again, you need to go and, again, you definitely should check out. It's this video right here. There's something awesome. Actually, oh man, I don't want to spoil it. Yeah, just watch it. Yeah, watch it all the way to the end, though. It's a good video. It's very informative. It also crushes a few of those those narratives people have put together while drinking a bit of haterade, you know. They kill me, man. Yeah, with the Shara stuff. I mean, look, all the way back weeks. I mean, look at this amount, the sheer volume that Shara has posted with call outs for these fools. Like, look at this stuff. And there's more. It goes all the way up to not too long from, but it's taken me a hot minute to get back here. It's been, like I said, it's been crazy. So I haven't had time to, in streams, give this the love that it actually deserves and merits, because you talk about a wrecking ball. Remember, Shara, if for some reason you don't know this, okay, if you missed out on the highlights, by the way, we still need to go back. I think tomorrow what I want to do is I'm going to review the live stream that Jeremy had where he talked about her deposition. I think that would be a good thing. We can do that. It'll be, again, I want to do something with all you folks on the holidays. Like that, that's something that I always try to do anyway. And that's something that I've been wanting to cover. I've been really wanting to go back and hit. So I want to hit those. But if you, for some reason, don't know what's been happening, you know, you had Shara kind of get quiet for a little while. You know, she would have her major back and forth, you know, and again, they were fun. I've always had fun with them. I like a little sparring back and forth online. There's nothing wrong with that. It's fun. The groupie cash train, all of that stuff. Yeah, you have that stuff come from Shara. So it was pretty funny, actually. But one thing that was noticeable is that she started getting quiet. And this was somebody that, you know, depending on, she would get vocal, and she'd get seemingly quiet. She'd get vocal, and then she went dark. And I was like, I wonder what's happening there. Well, then you start having the haters, specifically the PR haters, calling her out and saying that, you know, she's a liar, she's this and that, you know, she's never been part of the team, while also saying she's part of the team later on. But, you know, essentially nobody wanted her around. She just interjected herself. So Shara's like, okay, all right. They call her a liar publicly, and they threaten her multiple times. So she decides to set the record straight. And when she does, man, you find out a lot. And what you've been finding out is that there were, if you needed proof that there were horrible threats going on behind the scenes and more, Shara has been the person to really give you access into a mindset behind the scenes that you never would have seen. And kudos to her for that, because there were threats. Horrible ones. You had weird conversations that she had been added to. You also had Bruce admitting that Lynette Preston is a public figure by calling her famous. I mean, just all kinds of things that were great. They were great. And while also going and talking about the this stuff in court. Oh man, I mean, you talk about a situation, first of all, that a lot of people, when they find themselves in, you know, they go quiet, they back down. She's being threatened, and you can tell from the way these people act. Oh, they're doing it publicly. I mean, holy shit, I don't doubt for one moment what she's saying about being threatened behind things. I don't doubt that at all. Because they do it publicly. If people are willing to threaten you publicly, they will damn well threaten people privately. You know they will. So, she's been talking, though. And again, for the last few weeks, I haven't had a chance. She's dropped 2 videos in the time that's how crazy these last 2 weeks have been. I feel like between between, oh yeah, we're still got to catch. There's a piece of a document that we didn't catch into. I forgot about. I've got a note for it here. I need to read these notes better. I had a little memo pad stuck up over here. I was like, oh, wait. That one that fell over had a note on it. Maybe I should have read. Whoops. But it's fascinating stuff. And they keep taking aim at her. So, I mean, let's see what she says about this stuff, though. You know, this actually starts around the 7th of December. It's all been in the last month that she's been posting this stuff. And again, it's wild. It's crazy. And if I were just watching this from the outside as somebody that didn't give a crap and just wanted to watch a case, this stuff would be insane. This would be the greatest gulp of tea I've had in a long, long time. But I do, on top of this, I want the guy that's been dealing with all of this madness to actually have a bit of peace. Him and the people around him to actually have some freaking peace. So check this stuff out, though. And again, the way that it charts, you'll notice we're going kind of backward at it like this, but that's the order that Facebook adds them in. And might we miss a few comments? Sure, we might. Facebook is not your friend in that way. But started around the 7th, she's noting and she's responding to things that are going on. She ends up wrecking these people because she's adding clarity to what they've aimed her way. Every time she puts out videos, these clowns have to try to go after her. She notes back then even 2L and BBB appear to be at it again like real team players, accusing me of fake crimes again. Remember, all of this is happening with a backdrop of her being a witness. By the way, there's been threats, just a note too. Let me note this, that have been called out. There were threats to strike her channel, because in her video, she actually included the 2L voice where they're threatening her. So they make threats while she's a witness, then they follow that up with more threats. I mean, are you kidding me? But accusing her of fake crimes again, they seem to want to frame me with something due to necessary truth in this case. I'm law-abiding always. And they're also lying about / intimidating another witness in this case. Intimidating another witness in this case. Well, interesting. Now, we've seen this stuff about with potential witnesses. We've actually seen the Northport stuff that's been popping off as of late. So those are potential witnesses, but who else? Who else could they be taking aim at? Man, these days, I have no idea. It's so much crazy. By the way, there are over 2,000 of you on a holiday. Man, I appreciate y'all being here. That's wild. 2,100 of you. Man, on holidays. So thank you. I appreciate you. But I will be addressing their show. Why is BBB PR pretending they're not Boss Man's PR again? And you know, this is fascinating considering I'm glad we actually waited for a hot minute, because if they're not PR, like they keep claiming, you know, we're totally not PR. It's strange that BBB tells them what to do all the time. He's always telling them what to do. In fact, let me grab something here real quick. Just give me a second. Close a couple of things real fast. Let's see. I want that one. I want to grab 2 screenshots here. Actually, I'm looking for the other one. I would think I'd folder these by now. These 2, where I didn't think they'd get so much need for play, but the whole idea that they're not PR for the old boss man, yeah, that seems to fall apart when, again, you have, let's see, let's pull up two things here. Number one, again, you have a screenshot of old Bruce promoting this narrative to them. Again, he's telling them the narrative. He's mailing them all of this stuff. He's essentially saying, hey, cover this. Here's your narrative here. Here's what I'm going to try to, and again, fascinating because you found out lately, this would be after that fact, that the people being tagged in, maybe that's the ecosystem. But on top of that, you also had, second. This just happened. If you missed this for some reason, you also had. He wrote Shizzy. Remember, we talked about this with Megan. We talked about it. We started it on this channel. Then we talked about Shizzy was on with myself and Megan. That was a lot of fun, by the way. I had a lot of fun with it. But there was a thing involving a clip from Shizzy's channel that Bruce was like, oh, I want to use that. Can I have permission? Meanwhile, he's sitting in the chat telling them, hey, look here. Oh, there's a privilege waiver email. He's like, oh, man, I emailed you the clip. He's like, oh, man, here's the narrative. He keeps saying it over and over again with that. JH mentioned, may have waived privilege conversations with Feather while he was on with Shizzy, which is stupid, by the way, stupid narrative. Can you play that audio? Also being like, Shizzy ain't going to strike you. He won't strike you. It's transformative. So he's telling me again, yo, boss man, indeed. It looks like he's telling them exactly what to do. So, yeah, I mean, Shara, it does feel like she's hitting right there on it, doesn't it? Why is she saying, why are they pretending? P.S. The PR is defaming me, lying about me and intimidating me again. Are they nuts? All messages given to me for my story in which I was invited by your client are given to me for my story. I did not type, record, or send them to a journalist for a story. Your client did. Again, that's very true. They were trying to claim, again, it's privilege, it's this and that. So I was like, they sent these to me while knowing that I'm covering this and asking me. Isn't it fascinating? I mean, you do have them requesting that she cover this story. So when they're doing that, they know full well why she's there. They just got the whole idea about what this person represents totally wrong, because they thought a few platitudes, while of course treating her like shit too. That's what it looked like when you see some of these messages. They thought coming back every now and then after she sees a problem and yelling at her or whatever, and then afterwards being like, well, you're actually our friend. And you're our journalist, not a R. Oh, fascinating, isn't it? But yeah, they mailed her this stuff. Not a crime, she says. So you can see the thread in that they've been putting up. They keep trying to say, you can't talk about this stuff. It's a crime. It's a crime for you to do it. Again, they're just straight up trying to intimidate her into silence. And she has been wrecking them for weeks, actually months now. It's been wrecking them for it. Been like, nah, I will be addressing all of this publicly going forward, because I feel the need to document and to protect myself fully. By the way, give Shara some Christmas love too. Being like, yo, Shara, we appreciate you. And Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too. Yeah, also, there's been a lot of these accusations too. I've seen this pointed a lot of different ways. She's like, Tori Toot Toot PR2 accused me of collecting information in this case to directly give it to Jeremy all along, calling me a mole. Now, I've heard them searching for their mole. It's fascinating because maybe they should look closer Oh, I'm enjoying this part. Maybe when they're like, hey, how are people finding out something? Maybe they should look closer. Look in your own inner ranks. Oh my God. It's so funny. I mean, they're like, Shara, she's always been a mole for uh-huh. Uh-huh. That's the dumbest narrative I've ever heard. But they've continued it. They've continued it. They've done it over and over again. They try to convince the public of it. And you know what's sad? Is there's a bunch of suckers out there that buy into any of this bullshit. They do, though. They do. This is defamation, a lie intended to harm me and also Jeremy. And that's true, too. You know, when you think about that, it's not just pointed at Shara. That's also pointed at Jeremy. It's saying that for some reason, he would have planted a mole. Like, how would he even know to do this? They invited her. She made, so this is the weird thing about that idea too. We've seen the initial communication. Lynette Preston reaches out to Shara and asks her to cover this case, or to cover this situation, as it were, that it's ballooning into, well, quite a bit. But she's like, oh, come on here, cover. And Shara's like, okay, I'll check it out. But how exactly does that work if she's supposedly a mole for Jeremy? I mean, that's the dumbest thing. Again, this sounds like some people watching way too many spy thrillers and thinking that suckers online will buy into it. Some suckers do. That's the sadder thing, but suckers buy into all kinds of stuff. But yeah, the narrative doesn't make sense. It doesn't at all. Let's see. I was making sure I didn't miss something there. Give me 1 minute, I need to drink. Shara notes last night, December 7th. Again, you can see where we're at with all of this, where we're starting at. Manic Tuley is claiming she was not hired by Attorney BBB and client MP August 2024. BBB and MP absolutely contacted, pursued, and teamed up with Manic Tuley as their quote-unquote home base eco in early August. This included a beautiful, well-thought-out and designed PR website, fully documented. That's true. We did see that website, didn't we? I'm going to say well thought out. I don't know about that. Maybe that's sarcasm shining through too. What it did have, and this is a way to poison, this is to put out poison narratives, I guess I should say. What they did was they would take 2 paragraphs, or actually 2 breaks. So it could be like as much as a run-on sentence, and then another few run-on sentences, and beside them you'd have a picture of a child. Then you would alternate that, have a couple more, picture of a child, and it did that. Then it had a bunch of links that the majority of them had the picture of the child, and then they had, who's the contact? Well, they have the legal team, they have Bruce Mackins down at the bottom, and they have them as PR. That was the wonderful thought out thing. Not thought out enough with denials. It is fascinating too that they still deny that. That's their website they built, and yet they still deny it. Imagine that. Imagine you build a website, by the way. You build it. You self-describe in it. And then you say that you're not the thing you self-describe as. It's so bizarre, isn't it? But I digress. So, BBB and MP regularly shared and published unreleased documents and material and interviews to or with Manic Tuley's ongoing to publish his quote-unquote PR and quote-unquote personal podcast. Clearly working together all along, as they now try to separate their fully documented roles in the boo-hoo blah blah. The boo-hoo blah blah gaga. I forgot about that. That's really funny. That's one of those funny Shara lines. The boo-hoo blah blah gaga. I love it. But yeah, that is interesting, isn't it? It's just like the same thing of Shizzy being told. Remember when he was contacted, Bruce said that he wanted to send that clip over to the 2Ls. That's what he wanted it for. He didn't want it for any other purposes than to send to them. Not for a case, not for anything else. So yeah, I think it's pretty well documented publicly. But for their boo-hoo blah blah panic. Is BBB aware every subject his manic PR team discusses and publicly opens up the file topic for public corrections? And that's true the Every time they've done that, the public has absolutely wrecked it. You know, remember the best example I think of that is the idea that Jeremy posted those signs. That's what they tried to push and promote, only to find out that Jeremy wasn't even around at the time. Wasn't that fascinating? Wasn't that interesting how that ended up getting course corrected? Whoopsie. I don't need permission from BBB or anyone to publish information given to me all along with permission to publish for my story. I was invited into nearly 2 years ago. May I also remind you that you, BBB, instructed me in writing to continue to work as a journalist in this case all along as I decide to see fit. He told her in writing, hey, you keep on keeping on. You cover the story as you see fit. Fascinating. BBB also gave me the okay to use my MP messages outside of his imagined privileged time period 3-way chat in first week in June to mid-August 2024, while quote-unquote preferring I don't, all in writing. Oh, fascinating there. So check that out. He gave her the okay to use those while saying, well, I prefer you don't, but it's okay you do in writing. Whoopsie. Furthermore, this case is public concern to the risk of harm to others. And I'm working independently as an independent journalist, collecting and covering all sides of the story. Indeed. When this becomes a concern of a crime, and again, she's saying that there were conversations talking about hitman. You know what's fascinating? When they went back and they talked about what was brought up with deposition, they were like, oh, why don't you prove that? And it was like, well, what about everything else that Shara put up? You're just going to ignore all of that. You're going to ignore all the crazy threats by John Cook, the ones you cannot interpret any other way than a threat. We're just going to pretend that those don't exist. Of course we are. Of course we are. By the way, they've continued to take aim at Shara. If you go and you check out their community tab on YouTube, while Shara is a witness, they are still going after her publicly. Don't ever learn. BBB crashed into my messenger, contacting me first with his premeditated bag of tricks on my trusting heart, with his personal gain of fame and control attempt to lock my file down. I feel violated, tricked, misled, intimidated, and terrified by BBB, his team, and his client, for the record, and the world will know the truth. This is one of the reasons I want to continue noting this, because she notes things about that, and she continues to note her fear of these people. And I don't want her thing, like a lot of things come up and are crazy, and we get We get kind of caught up in whatever is in the moment because there's so much of it. And I don't want people that stand up and talk about the truth in this to feel like they, people aren't noticing them. They're just noticed for a moment. No, people are noticing. And props to Shara. And this keeps going out on me. That's terrible. Like, I need to try harder with that. By the way, kids, don't smoke. Let me note that. Having said that, this is a. I had some I was going to send to Jeff for his Christmas. So I've been working my way through those, kind of in the moment. Kind of it as props there. Now you have another one noting BBB's made himself and named himself a famous lawyer in the case, making him a public figure and part of the high-profile story. Now, what she's talking about there is that note to Dave Neal. See, remember, he says in the note to Dave Neal that he's famous. He himself, he keeps making statements like that. And those are screw-ups because just like his clients, he admits they are famous. Well, he admits he's famous too. If he's saying that, how do you become famous? Well, it's because of this case. And he wanted fame. He absolutely wanted it. He wanted it so he could promote this thing about his mac and cheese narrative. He said that. He's absolutely said that publicly. And then he's told Dave Neal again, Mom, he's got that fame. So he himself, he may not like that call out, but that's what's there. You have another one here. Manic PR. Thule 1 mocks George's very serious health concern again. By the way, it's good. I'm glad that... Again, watch the new video. Let's just say I watched the new video. But it's horrible what these people have thrown there. Like that kind of stuff too. Where they're talking about taking the bait. I think that they've hoped in doing that they could do harm. I think they want to get a response from Germany, but also they want to apply pressure and stress to George as well, because people are, even if they ignore things, I'm sure they get mailed all types of crazy, insane nonsense. I'm sure. And some of it is court worthy. So they can't, if somebody's being added to a court case, you can't ignore everything. But a lot of it has to be stressful. It has to be stressful to know that somebody has come to your community, is canvassing a place. While, by the way, again, I want to stress this. I've said this before. Apparently, people don't look over protective orders very well because those orders say that not only can you not do it, but you can't have other people do this stuff for you either. So other people can't harass on your behalf. So when people come to your town, and they start canvassing and saying you've done things like offing dogs and other nonsense while they're stalking around, driving around, making it very clear that they're not just driving around. They're like, oh, George's vehicle, again. They go looking for problems. Yeah, you might want to look up again how protective orders they see that stuff, because that's a big no-no. That's a big no-no. They're home based out of somebody's property, out of their home. They're working as their PR. And they're out trying to do damage? Wonder how a court would see that. Probably something you shouldn't do. But why does Manic PR, Lee PR1's alarming anger elevate as she discusses George obsessively? That's a good question there. They also discussed the big cruise ship cash plans and Jeremy and George's hard work and business. Again, isn't that weird? It is a weird obsession with George, by the way. And I like how when the cruise thing got called out, they were actually like, no, that was all just to see if other people would talk. Sure it was. Sure it was. I love that. That was there because, Here's the interesting now. She's told, you can't beat stupid, Shara. The living proof of that. Give them enough rope, they hang themselves. As the saying goes, it'd be a good watch when they all start turning on each other, all throwing each other under the bus. Bruce did a fine job throwing LP and JC under the bus in Jeremy's depot. Thickest pig, a lot of them. And Shara's like, well, there's so much more. Well. The eighth, we're up to the eighth. BBB, hello. Your manic PR is body shaming, opposing. Your PR appears to be as professional as you do. December 8th as well. Are you combing through all the statutes with your abusing PR, BBB? Oh, she just said the team there. And tried to back row. She tried to row that back. So they keep accidentally saying words like team. Whoopsie. We're not part of a team. Well, the team is. It's like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. That's the problem when you ask people. I keep saying, and they hate this too, that a majority of the audience that watches that show, I believe, are actually supporters of Jeremy Hale. I know there are a lot of people that watch and document and everything else. And it's fascinating to me that they continued the blundering along. You're abusing PR, interrogating and coaching a small child about melatonin, BBB? To try to prove I lied? I can prove what I say, remember? Ooh. Let's see. I always like to look at the answers. Somebody says, well, it says that's a hallmark of abuse. Coaching a child to lie about abuse shows premeditation also. Shara's like, indeed. And from a concerning, angry, abusive individual with a calculated plan. I believe that some of the messages that were exchanged that we saw too did indeed note that there was a calculated plan. You know, sue Jeremy, get payday. I believe that's actually that showcases plenty. Hey, you want to pay us $65,000? Yeah, quite a bit. So December 8th. Attorney actor Bruce. Did your lying client say I called all over Northport? WTF? This is actually untrue, but they've tried to stick to that over and over again, trying to say that Shara called all over the place. Yeah, Shara's not the one calling people. Hold on for 1 minute. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. Let me get a drink of water there too. I hate the season. It's warmed up here. It's warmed up, like it was 20 degrees yesterday, and it's still cool here, but it's a lot warmer. I hate that. Oh, I hate that weather. Just stabilized already. Why did your PR just say I contacted multiple people in Northport? When did that occur? Another frame job. Remember, Megan Fox said that she contacted specific people. She said 100% I did. You know, but Shara wasn't the one doing it. They just threw Shara into the fray because they've tried to paint her in a specific light, a specific unflattering light. Are you just trying to stir me so you can grab material for your BS frame jobs and fabricated lawsuits? You know how you are, and so do I, remember? I remember how you are, huh? All those times you screamed at me when you realized I was too concerned for the child to play along. Remember what you said? I sure do, fully documented. You and your manic PR, as you type in her chat while she egregiously lies about me for you, will need to present evidence to support your lies and weak frame job you are creating on me, because I have concrete evidence to prove everything I say, as you know, BBB. What you don't know is I'm invited to every case I work in with success, because I always deliver, and unlike you, I'm always ethical and pure. Again, we saw the invite. So they cannot deny that they invited her. And her documentation, her videos have been very fascinating to look at. You know, when I look at this as a whole, I think I understand more with Shara. At first, I thought Shara's silence was incompetence. I'll fully admit that. But what I think now, when I'm looking at everything, is that she was conflicted because she had been told something and she believed that at first. And then she was seeing more and more things, more and more cracks in that facade. And she was like, wait a minute. She was seeing issues there. And when she saw more and more of that, she was like, yo, I need to back away from this. I'm going to walk away. And they wouldn't let her walk away. They wouldn't. They wanted her because they thought that she would do a frame-up job. That's not what she did. So it's interesting looking back after all the videos and all of the messages, everything she's being added to, and the bully pulpit people. You know, it's fascinating to me too how I've never had a person try to pull that on me. And I always do wonder if that's a difference that women actually have happened to them. Some people think they can step up and they can bully and browbeat women into something, playing on their emotion. I mean, you have people that try to play on your emotions. I've had that. And also, you know, you have people that try to play on ego and vanity and anything else. You know, oh, you're this, you're that. You know, they try that. But I've never had anybody try to scream at me thinking that they were going to browbeat me into anything. Because that wouldn't play well. If they tried that with Shara, that's what she's telling you about. It's just crazy, isn't it? Let's see. Why did your PR say I'm not covering this story anymore? Yeah, that is weird. Why do they say that? It seems like Shara damn well is covering this. Again, she's been putting together. You can do a video on a subject every single day if you want to. I mean, I do live streams on what I find and showcase. But you can also, you know, with all of this stuff that she had, she's been trying to present it in a specific way, trying to make it make sense. And again, using messages, using glimpses behind things, using conversations. She's not telling you. It's what's interesting about her approach is she's presenting items without any commentary. Her commentary are the items themselves, whether that's been body cam, whether that's been conversations that she's been privy to, threats that she's received. She's put that in as the audio, and she's just shown you. Oh, man. Shara, if you got another one in the pipe, I'm curious. I'm curious what's next. Are you still trying to control me in my story, BBB? I've always pursued all sides. 1 second. I look down periodically at the chat. Man, I see you all there too. It's crazy. More freaking memberships. It's awesome there. I look down periodically though. I try to catch some commentary and see what people are saying, but I also try to make sure that YouTube hasn't decided to have a problem and stop broadcasting. So I have to look down everywhere. Yeah, somebody said she's smart and deliberate in that. Yes, indeed. She's been very deliberate. And again, my understanding of what she was not only trying to do with this, but what she was running into. I'd be curious if she's ever ran into people trying to do what they did to her with this. You know, most people don't run. Again, I've ran into crazies on the, like when you talk about something, period, even if you talk about court documents and people don't like the way they read, if they feel like if they feel like you're adopting a side in any way, or you think somebody's telling the truth and not, you do run into crazies that are backing that other side sometimes. But with the parties themselves coming at you like this, man. But he's still trying to control me and my story. I've always pursued all sides of this case. I've got a lot more bursting to come out, and it is necessary. Make sure you can prove I ever called Northport Bruce, and all those other desperate lies you're feeding to your personal PR. And you may want to make sure you frame me wisely, because I'm no jokelist. Bam, baby. I'm no jokelist. Indeed. Indeed. You know, I think that's been proven. The whole idea with the jokeless thing was the idea that she would never produce a story because she was inept. Because we had no idea what's going on behind the scenes again. And she clarified that. I think she's done that very well. A lot of people distrusted the hell out of her when she first came up too, because they were like, oh, this is some crazy plan. It's just another attempt by these crazy people to do something. Yeah. I don't think people believe that as much anymore, do they? Interesting how stuff changes. I fight for victims like a mother. Stay tuned, mad scientist. Oh, let's see. She had another comment down here. I can't, she's responding to it. People, and she also noted here as well, people are telling her to stay strong. She gives a lot, but she also noted Megan Fox just announced that she was the one calling all over Northport. She's breaking that story. That tells you the timeline that this stuff was put up. Those individuals need to stop assuming and spreading falsehoods. So yeah, it wasn't there. This is told to her. And she's like, yeah, I know, but the two eyes are saying Fox is calling and I'm calling. So you see that. And why are they doing that? Well, she says it's because it's a threatening tone toward me. You know, they're trying to smear her as something. You know, Shara, again, wasn't the one doing that. We 100% know that. That is not what was happening at all. So then, again, you'll have some jumping around, you know, because I think what's happening here, like she's been catching up different streams. She's gone in and documented this. She's documented the threats and more. I don't blame her for doing that either. That has to be nerve-wracking, though, when you feel like people are making threats against you. Or rather, when people are making threats against you. Not just you feel like it, but they definitely are. They've been making threats. Remember we've got this device full of, we're going to strike your channel, we're going to take you down. I mean, just all this nonsense. They should probably talk to a lawyer about that. One that actually knows what the fuck they're talking about before targeting, again, witnesses or potential witnesses. because, you know, the lawyer, Bruce might not be the best person to ask about this stuff. Why would I say that? Because remember, with the Northport stuff, Bruce decided that he would go after a lady's job because she mentioned something about Northport. So he might not be the best person to talk about that. She goes back to, again, when she notes a date, she's talking about a live stream she's looked at. So the 2 L's, unacceptable public lies about me and intimidation statements, will be addressed in the next few days. 2 L's, BBBPR, is scary individual who is also accusing me of crimes I've not committed. They're terrorizing me to sickness before a federal court depot with the intent to scare me for truthful testimony. I will take their fully documented threats seriously. Yeah, it's bad when people think, they look at what you're saying and it's like, you're trying to scare me away from depot, right? Again, we need to discuss. That's why tomorrow I want to talk about the discussion, the live stream where Jeremy talks about the depot from Shara. So December the 9th, the 2 L's are acting nuts again. Nuts emoji. They again are accusing me in a threatening tone of calling people in Northport while saying it's a no-no for me when I never once called Northport. But why is it a no-no for a journalist to collect and report her story? I mean, that's true too. It's fascinating. See, what's interesting is the narrative that had been promoted. See, why is Northport? Why does that matter, period? Why is it a part of this at all? Because remember, there was this narrative that, again, blame Jeremy. We made this a joke. All of us, you all, we've all made this into a joke, saying that if something comes up, it's all Jeremy's fault. Why? Because they said that. They blame Jeremy for everything, and they have. And they've included blaming him all the way for everything from what they say neighbors do with harassment, bullying, and more to contact with agencies, I'm going to say. You're finding out, wow, there had actually been contact before that. Unless Jeremy had, I mean, the allegations there are absolutely insane. Somehow before he meets people, years before, he somehow engineers this. How would that be real? It wouldn't. So is BBB behind this? Are they working on, man, on a freaking, look at all of those members, those member chats and chat. Man, like I said, appreciate you all. It's wild to look at. See them coming in there. Thank you all. Man, I lost my point there. It's like, wow. Is BBB behind this? Are they working on another fake frame for the fake crimes and lawsuits they are fabricating? Because truth got in the way. Indeed. Truth gets in the way, therefore. How will they prove I'm calling people I never called? Their quote unquote friends they claim I'm calling are going to lie for them? Wow. They're trying to fix the cruise talk again, but it's not floating. Like she's noting here, well, with that too. There was this talk about, wouldn't it be great? All of us get together, we take a cruise, and people noticed that. It got screenshot, and people were like, man, that's going to be the next grift. So in the aftermath, what they did was say that was, again, that was just bait. That was just bait. It's like, yeah, okay. All right. And no frame John will stop the truth. Wow. Manic 2 Lie 1 just stated she'd been talking to the DA, cooking something on Jeremy or someone. She just stated she'd been talking to the district attorney, trying to frame John the guy. Huh. Let that sink into you. claims of talking to a district attorney. You know, it's absolute madness. They're going to have a rough go of that, too. You know, this stuff is playing out in a federal court. So they're going to have a real rough go of that, trying to get a DA involved. That is what these people do, though. I've been there. I've got a clip on in my intro that actually, again, give me 1 second. If you don't think people do that kind of stuff. See, people think a lot of times that nut jobs, they don't do crazy things like that. They don't go out of their way to contact agencies and more. But they absolutely do. Like when again, just from covering the Amber Heard nonsense, I had a bunch of morons that, even before that with comic books, I had nuts. And this is just, again, this is a shadow compared to a Jeremy Hale's. I had people contact the police department here and tell them that the property they thought I was on, that I thought I lived at the time, that we were burying bodies there. They were trying to get the police to go out. And I typically didn't talk about some of that stuff at the time. But the reason I did was because the property they were sending that to, that was my grandfather's property. And he's old and he's crazy. He's absolutely crazy. He's a potentially, people came to raid his home. He would be somebody that he would throw down. He would 100% throw down. And that could get somebody killed. I watched a live stream once, though, where people were proving they had talked to what they thought was our mayor. They actually weren't our mayor because we're unincorporated, but an individual that acts as your mayor. They contacted the DA and more. And it's not even anywhere near as crazy as this. But, yeah, people do that. They do that stuff. But it's wild when they're being accused of being part of a conspiracy to try to ruin someone's life. They could potentially be going out and trying to aim law enforcement, a district attorney at this guy more. Yeah, that's nuts. And she's saying it with a gleeful voice, stating, again, they're throwing around statutes that they probably have no idea about. The co-ecos, I like that, co-ecos, are co-combing statutes against their multiple targets, again, that include me, it seems. Does the district attorney know about the Gator gig? And that's a good question, too. You know, if you're going to contact the district attorney, have you informed them of what? So 18 USC 2234, if that's right, that is, I was looking this up, and that's authority exceeded in executing a warrant. What? Again, just posting this in. Whoever in executing a search warrant willfully exceeds his authority and exercises it with unnecessary severity shall be fined under this title and imprisoned no more than 1 year or both. That's again, like I decided to just copy and paste because I was curious about 18 USC 2234. If that's actually what was quoted there. That's how the statute reads. Anytime, you should always look up when people start throwing around in case law or anything else. This is a fascinating thing. I ran into this with another case that's coming up. Well, actually, it's playing out right now. There's a lawsuit from this whack job game journalist going after a YouTuber. And they quote unquote case law in it. And when you go in, you know, arguments on their face, sometimes you're like, man, that's a good argument. And sometimes you look at it and you're like, that's the stupidest argument I've ever read. But if you look into what they're throwing around, especially people that have no idea about law whatsoever, if you look at the statutes that they throw around U.S. code. Like I said, if that's correct, what a mess. What a bunch of idiots. Wouldn't even be surprised by that. Let's see. I was trying to see what Shara, somebody points that out. That has to do with search warrants. In what instance, in this situation where search warrants involved, she was like, there have been, but it does not make sense. Then again, frame jobs can be anything. That's weird. What does that even mean? I thought maybe that was the wrong statute. Maybe that is there. So then she notes with December the 7th, I'm not a mole, Lisa 2 live. I was invited to this case by MP, not Germany. Again, there's proof of that. And I came with my heart. Those maniac shit show statements you are publicly stating or defaming me or defamation with malice. I have been fully trusted and deeply appreciated by everyone I've worked with. I've never left a case until this case. That's actually a very interesting statement too. Never left a case until this case. I've not been harmed by anyone until now. So she's actually answering what I was asking about before with other cases. She's like, I've never had this situation, never had anything like this happen. I left this case more than once, beginning over a year ago, due to my long-standing concerns that were confirmed by more records and my concerns with the 2L defamatory shit show. MP invited me back every time I left. Yes, you could actually see the way that played out too. Again, playing on Shara, trying to be like, but you're my pal. You're my friend. If you do this, then. My concerns began before any court case began. I shared my concerns with BBB Boss Man, a PR partner, 8 months ago, so it's not new. And this can be proven. I don't know. I don't know you, as you obsessively speak about me, pretending to know me. And I was not on MLS as a quote-unquote legal team. I was on the show strictly as a journalist. And the text to prove it does exist. Wait, as a legal team? Well, they're trying to claim that she was going on and talking about stuff as part of a legal team. Man, that was a desperate way to silence Shara, by the way. I do wonder how they'll try to extend that to other things that other people have done. Oh, you can't subpoena their records. You can't subpoena their communications. They're all part of the legal team. Good luck with that argument. Good luck with that. I'm a caring and giving journalist. I'm not a friend in this case. MP was giving me information for a story I was collecting for a story with her permission. I was not collecting public records for any legal team. I was collecting records for my story. Yeah, see, this narrative falls apart too, with her supposedly collecting documentation for a legal team. If she was collecting that, then why was she the only one that had it? See, that's the real kicker to it. They admitted that they didn't have the documentation she did until recently. So the documentation she pulled on her own. She wasn't pulling it and giving it to these idiots. She was pulling it as her own research. She was putting together, again, I asked for documentation. I either get it from people that I know that are already pulling this stuff up. If I trust them, I will look at documentation that way. Like again, a Megan Fox, for example, if she ends up pulling something, we talk about whether or not certain things are confirmed. We talk about certain things that are in that, but there are other sources too. There are a few of them out there. Or I go and get it myself. When you pull that, I'm not pulling it as part of a legal team. Like it's fascinating to me. I don't think anyone would be under the delusion that you're part of a legal team. Even if you speak to a lawyer or anything else too. Like, again, Depp trial spoke to Depp's lawyer trying to find out things about the case. I was looking for any information. That didn't make me part of a legal team, did it? No. Did they claim that? Absolutely not. Like, it's the dumbest argument I've ever heard about. The legal team did not ask me for any record other than unrelated record for a scoop for the 2L PR team, Showtime. So the legal team did not ask me for any record other than an unrelated record for a scoop so they could show it on the PR show. I'm not the attorney. That's true. Very much so. Why didn't the attorneys ask me for or collect public record? And that's the thing too. A lot of these documents, they're either through FOIA requests or they're public documentation. Why would they collect their own? That's actually ineptitude. If they're not collecting public record statements on their own, what kind of a moron would you have to be? I mean, seriously, man, look at all those gifted memberships. It's amazing. I love it too. I get comments from people that ask about gifted memberships. They'll ask, hey, can you hook me up with, I don't control where they go. If you're in a live stream like this and you comment, I don't have the comments limited. So, if you're commenting, talking, having fun, then when they drop in, they just hit people in the chat. Just to know. I did not delete my old comment. A correction for your page. You're an actress for Boss Man. Wow. Stop blaming. I did not delete my old comment. Correction for your page. You are an actress for Boss Man. Stop blaming Jeremy for what you're doing to me. You, Boss Man, and MP are doing this to me, fully documented. And P.S., I've advocated for Jamie for years and quite protective when I see someone trying to harm her. I will also be building a case for the theft of her property. Yeah, I still need to go back and hit that video. The stuff involving Jamie. I'm telling you, this is what I mean. We had a month, and I feel like I haven't caught up any ground for December. I haven't caught up any ground whatsoever. Oh my Lord. So this is okay. And again, there's probably more in that. All right. Now remember, during this time too, you have this video, and also, give me 1 minute. The other video that came up, and this has commentary with it within the last few days. I'm basically catching up a lot here, so you have to give me just a second. 1 minute. I'm rolling forward. I'm making sure that I catch everything here. You also had, this was the last video that came up. You can see the time period. Again, Shara posts a lot. I hope when Shara is looking through all this stuff too, Shara, if you hear me with this, do not let these people get inside of your head. I know that they worry you. Don't let them have a place in there, though, because they want to be there. They want to intimidate and harangue and harass and bully. Don't let them have space in there. You document because you feel the need to document. I don't blame you 100%. I would. But don't let them drive you to a place. because they'll try to do that too. So Shara, 1 second. That's cool. Somebody sent me $10 on a Cashapp. That's crazy. Somebody asked me to put a Cashapp thing there. I was like, I've never thought about that in years. I've never put up a Venmo, or I don't even think about that stuff. You know, so somebody asked me to put up a Venmo. Wow, people sent. I was like, whoa, thank you. And a Cashapp. It's like, man, I never even thought about putting some of this stuff up there. So thank you all. That's random, I know, but I do want to say thank you. People have done that too. Like, again, I was really nervous this month. I have not had a break in a day job employment in, I had 11 years of certain work, let's just say. Before all of that, I worked in the schools. Before that, I worked with whatever. I've not had a break in that. And for 7 years, I carried a day job and this at the same time. For 7 years, I did that. It felt really bizarre. So like I say, I appreciate people that have supported the show and everything else. It's been wild. It's been wild too. I don't feel like I work when I do this. I feel like I enjoy it. It's such a weird feeling. I understand the people that always said, you know, you never work a day in your life if you enjoy what you do. And I kind of understand that. I never understood it before. I understood it at night. I was like, man, I like this stuff, but never understood it until now. So anyway, I get my, that's almost getting in my feels. So I appreciate that. Why do 2L want to use photos of a small innocent child on her angry public YouTube page? For what purpose? Huh. It's actually a good question. Mine, people are like, it's the grift. It's the grift, you know. Grift today, pay tomorrow attitude. Make hay while the sun shines. Shara says, I believe there's a video where they stated they would account for all the money collected publicly, but that idea appears to have changed. I would like to see every penny shown. And remember, you know, this is an interesting statement from Shara, because Shara, one of the things that she asked for publicly was, well, she asked for privately first, was her money. She had given money to these people, and she felt that that money, it went to things that she didn't give it for. She asked for it behind the scenes. She asked for it back. She talked to BBB, who is their lawyer. We have proof of this. We saw it in a video. We saw the text exchange. And BBB was essentially like, why would you hit me up? Which is crazy, because this is their lawyer. You would think he would want to douse any fire that might come up. Like for me, this would be me. If somebody had that amount of information and they were just walking away, if you had done all of this insanity and Shara was at a point where she's conflicted and she's silent and she's walking away, wouldn't you do everything possible to placate her? Would you continue to poke her and prod her and call her a liar and more? And I'm not saying she wouldn't have talked about things without that, but they damn well, they made it where it was impossible for her not to, because her reputation is tied as a journalist. Again, you can get stuff wrong too. I've had, during this, the things you get wrong, I've had small things. I think I've had 3 things, and I've done this, that they were either misreads on something, or again, going back, you know, and really thinking about something, you know, after discussing it live, like 3 times within 7 years, I feel like, okay. But I've never had a story that I've looked at Whereas it's developed, I thought, oh my God, you know, everything here, it's wrong. It takes a lot of, it takes a lot of integrity to go in and admit you're wrong, period. To admit that when you were looking at something, somebody was lying and misleading you. But they called her a liar publicly. They defamed her. They dared her to come out. They threatened her. But they made it where, what else could she do? It was her reputation. Like what you do with all of this, that's what it rides on. I mean, her reputation was riding with this. So, of course, like she ends up talking about stuff. And again, I'm not saying she wouldn't have, I don't know where mentally she was before that, but I do know that they made it impossible for her to choose another route and continue with her integrity intact. There's no way. Because remember, they were saying that she had basically attached herself to all of this, that she had forced herself into this, when that's not the case. It's not the case at all. She's one of the parties that was invited to this. She was invited to the shit show. One of the few people and actually invited with those. It's also funny, people that have inserted themselves into that. They would say that this person that was invited, they had somehow inserted themselves. Like, isn't that weird? But yeah, out of this, you know, she asked, when she went and asked for money and was told no, she then mentioned later on, like, okay, I want a public accounting for it. So she's not just some random, like me, I've never given them a dime. I'll never give them a fucking dime. Ever. I heard people say, like with the fence thing, for example, hey, maybe that'd be a good project. Well, you might have to look at that horrible, you know, fiasco, maybe protect Jeremy from the insanity on that. But that, of course, didn't work. They built a hobbit-sized fence. I feel like every time he drives by, it looks like we're getting views from the Shire. You know, it's like if the Keebler elves, if they wanted to build a fucking fence, maybe they should have outsourced it. You know, but I digress. But yeah, every penny, that would be nice, wouldn't it? It also says, you know, 2L has cameras on the prison-style fence so they can film and stalk Jeremy every day on the street he lives and use his name and image on their defamatory page, posting photos every day while she yells in a frenzy for hours. That's true, too. Isn't that interesting? They've actually done more damage to their narratives, though, because of the photographs that they post than anything else. I mean, if you look up, you know, we're talking about the whole idea. Give me 1 second here. Let me find something. The fence, for example. You know, when they were talking about the fence, and they were talking about Jeremy riding around, and they were saying, oh, you know, he's peeking over fences and more. Well, their own photographs actually destroyed that narrative. I mean, there were two. There was this thing, you know, with the building where you could see the road height. And also, this is one of my favorite ones. This is absolutely one I love, because it shows you, again, you set your arm down. For me, if I'm driving, I've done recordings that are not just spontaneous. You know, if I know I'm reporting, like if I were going to record for my safety, I would have a setup where I could actually maneuver a camera and stuff. I've gone out and intentionally filmed with a camera before like that, and I used it wasn't I hate to call them selfie sticks, because a selfie stick denotes a cheap device. You know, the handheld stabilizer, though, that people have, they're not selfies. I wouldn't want to put my my very expensive phone on a selfie stick and have it sticking out a window or something. But I would want something I can grip onto, where again it's positioned, I can move it around. But when you look at the heights, I mean, what a terrible freaking build. Look at this. And they themselves, they ended up with their continual shit show. They destroyed their own narratives about height and about what was going on. I kind of like that. I kind of like that they were dumb enough to do that. But yeah, oh, let's see what else is out there. Shara was asked, wouldn't they be breaking the protective order by filming Jeremy from their property, distributing the pictures? I think so. Yes. Actually, this is another interesting question. So it's not the filming, but the way they've utilized that to try to attack Jeremy and Moore as representatives, as people attached to the person with the protective order. Yeah, that's a very good question, isn't it? Because when they've gone out with the intent to try to attack and harass and stalk and defame, that's a problem. Again, read a protective order. I've been there, had one. You know, and the way that it's worded, it's not just the person you have that against. It's also anyone that's connected to them. They can't have other people do this on their behalf. You can't hand it off and just let people go out and harass and bully and attack and defame. You can't do that. They could very well set up cameras on their property. But having people like go out and continually promote these crazy fucking narratives, you do have to wonder, at what point does all of that actually break that order? Says the entire team is making their situation what it is today. I bet they think that's Jeremy's doing too. Yes, indeed. Like, I'm sure that LP and JC sit around and are like, Jeremy's causing this stuff. When really, when you look at it, whose fault is that? Maybe they should all get together and take a group look in a mirror. Because they're the ones that continue to do that. I've never witnessed anything like the situation. Shara was thanked for the evidence, and she's like, oh, there's more to come. I love it. Oh, I love it. 2 Hales trying to distance herself from her PR defamatory gig, but the records are concrete. Yes, indeed. I love how they keep claiming they're not PR. The argument, by the way, is they're trying to play a semantic game by saying that they aren't a PR company. They don't work for a PR. That's not what that is. I could go in, if I wanted someone to hire me as a PR consultant, I wouldn't have to have a company behind me. People could bring you on. And again, they claimed it themselves. They put it in a website, for fuck's sake. I don't know how you try to distance from this stuff. One can run, but they cannot hide. Shara was like, they don't even run. Look at the little running emoji. You can waddle, but you cannot float. Maybe that's the thing. I'm not sure. What do you make it then? Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, that little running emoji cracks me up there. And they are threatening me right now on the defamatory show as they play Twister. I wonder what this is. Give me 1 second. This is actually somebody's comment. I'm going to lock in on it. Give me 1 minute. I may have to roll back and forth. Let's see. I'm going to see what the statement is she's responding to. Give me 1 minute. So she was responding to Lori Jones. This is just like a married couple, head over heels, in love with each other, thinking each was best in the world. Then one started to see the flaws of the other. They saw that the person was maybe a liar, abusive, cheater, etc. Now they're getting a divorce. That's what Shara is saying. She got bamboozled. Sorry, Shara, but that's how I see it. Now, she sees that she was lied to for a very long time. She's trying to make wrong right. Bruce and the fleas need to stop threatening her and leave her alone. And she's like, yeah, and they're threatening me right now in their defamatory show as they play Twister. She's like, right this moment, they're doing that. That's wild. You would think they would want to avoid that stuff too, you know? People also, they keep saying, you know, when she's put out, this is actually a good screen grab by her too. You can see like her actually putting up information. And you deceive many people, but the truth will come out and will show, and you will shown a fool. You will shown a fool. I think she has shown a fool, but they're trying to say you will be shown as a fool. But yeah, she's showing a bunch of fools out there. So I guess they're right in that. Shara's like, that's crap too. And if you look at the video again, that last video, Lord, give me 1 second here. I don't want to go through and listen to that video, but I do want to show a couple of things. I mean, you know, we looked through. 1 second, let me pull this up. Let me lock it in here. It takes me a minute because if you've never used Streamer, you see how this linked up? See how I have room around it and everything? If you just screen grab it and throw it out there, it doesn't lock it in right. These different programs, every one of them is buggy, but that's one thing I figured out I have to do. So it takes me a minute to get it locked in just right. But yeah, when she's like, this was fascinating. We heard more on this actually later on. You know, we heard about the live stream group, you know, somebody named the group. So this actually got clarified a bit more. You know, this was a live stream, August 15th. Here's the live stream group. And you have, you know, you can see Brucey noting, please join this chat for tonight's stream. Give me a second. See, we've learned more about like what this was. We just need Michelle here and you're good to go. I can check in as I can. What time is it supposed to start? Can someone get that one CPS report Michelle shared in the other chat? Is there a PDF of it or a JPEG I can share? I can share the link and they can play it. I'll say we're trying to get copies of all other 21. So you see, again, this is a live stream group. You know, now this stuff happens too. Okay, just to let you, there are different ways with live streams you can communicate. You can communicate in StreamYard. You'll hear me sometimes. If there's something that I notice, I'll tell Megan, hey, check out this message here. There's a private chat that you have in StreamYard that people can see. People use Twitter like this too. You can actually you can add multiple people. I'm sure Facebook would work the same way, but you can add multiple people to a thread. And in that thread, you can communicate. Like we do that with invite groups. Like, for example, just throw a show out there, like Flashcast. Okay, with Flashcast, one of the ways, instead of sending out 20 invites, you know, you can add a bunch of people into something and you can use it that way. And people will chit chat, you know, you'll have a good time. You become friends with a lot of people there. But rarely, you don't usually see, like I've never been invited to one where people behind the scenes are coordinating and colluding on narratives. Like me, I'm too much of an asshole to be added to something like this. Like if people were trying to get me to collude on a narrative and putting something together, I wouldn't take kindly to that. I will discuss something. Like, again, I talk to people like Megan. Megan, I consider a friend, but also she's a journalist. You learn that about her. Like when you talk to her enough, what you learn is integrity is paramount, and she is always investigating. So there's discussion about, here's a document. What does this document mean? I want to make sure that I'm reading it correctly. Are you reading this? Am I reading this right? Did you see this statement right here? That's crazy. And also, there may be something that you don't want to share publicly. There's certain things that, like if I collected something and I'm thinking it might lead to someone else being harassed or harangued, I may not share that. And I want to get somebody's advice on whether or not, it's, we ran into that with Laura Owens, for example. We ran into the first person that you track back to all of this insanity. If you go back far enough, that person's name had not been made public. Now, Laura Owens did and made it public after a while. Actually, her lawyer did. But we all ran into it before that. And we chose not to share that person's name because we thought it would be wrong as a victim. So you run into that. But I've never been added to something like this craziness here, But then you got I just got it. Oh, Michelle, please. Or Lacey, not Lynette. Don't call her Lynette. That's fascinating, isn't it? Then you had the question from her. Can I thank people on chat or just no? And you had John had called me, another person. Let Bruce thank them on your behalf. My opinion, just at name and thank you, nothing more. Okay, better not. Whoops. You see them, they're trying to figure out like whether or not they should discuss her there. Isn't that interesting? Then they'll want more. Ooh, then they'll want more. Okay. Says, you're a celebrity, but we don't want to embrace that. This is them admitting, again, I need to screenshot that. Give me 1 second. I'm going to screenshot this for my own purposes, by the way. Because this is an admission of her celebrity status. Like I thought that was, see, there are things that pop up. Celebrity BBB. Give me 1 second, I'll screenshot that. You're a celebrity, but don't want to embrace that. If you put names here, I can mention it specifically to thank people. Oh, well, that's a great idea. Okay. Then Lanad admitted he bought alcohol and they drank it. So, oh, this is huge. Put it there. News break. Then is this a new text? Yes, this morning they're noted. Elaborate on what he's saying here. What's Landon talking about with this quote unquote new text? I'm trying to walk it slow. Okay. So you dug through the garbage just to get bottles to prove a point is kind of wild. And no, he never bought us alcohol. They're talking about Lloyd. Like, isn't this fascinating? They have this behind the scenes. Lloyd, in fact, if Landon were saying that, remember there was the accusation that Lloyd bought them alcohol. And we find out behind the scenes that they know damn well there was communication saying that Lloyd never brought them alcohol. I can say that he didn't buy it for us. He bought it for himself, and we took some. There's a difference. So Landon is saying that he took, no permission there. He took alcohol from somebody. So they had access to this. They never set that record straight, by the way, did they? You know, they always talked about old Lloyd. They dumped on that man. And they have statements like this. And he didn't steal it. An Under Armour bag, like an $87 bag when I bought it. Should have seen when I texted him. Isn't that fascinating, though? So, again, they make money off what the hales and are not allowed to enable anyone from our side to interfere. Oh, thumbs up. Then, hey, B, please show those texts saying I'll help Lloyd and am nice to him. You have again. You see who's saying that there? Should I tell her to show Landon about having the full card and JH lied? You see. Okay, here. Help you, and I will, no matter how negative you are to me, how bad you treat me. I will still help you, period. You are wrong about my grandchild, absolutely wrong. You'll have to let me know if you want me to go in and spray it, wash your bedding, and get everything cleaned up for you. I don't want you to go in there at all, so you can see the communication they're sharing. Again, this is all when you're. I think with the clarity, it's become a little bit more interesting, like seeing what was here. He has it, and is it lying? Those messages with the turtle background, someone says. Then Bruce gets into the audio file for Landon. You see him getting upset. I want Landon's audio file. You have her saying, well, just message him again, Bruce. I will keep saying it. She's like, this is all I can do. Look how crazy he acts with that kind of stuff. You know, here's a message. Again, another one, you know, something weird online. He's offering you $50 for the recorded call with Jeremy. He's offering you money for the recorded call. Landon, he isn't doing prank calls. I'm not doing prank calls. He will Venmo you $50 tonight for the recorded call and edited with you and JH. Sorry, I was wrong. 100, it says. So they're trying to, if Landon takes 100 to send an audio file, it's not bribery. Please, please. Hale's bribed him. We're not. Then there's a message from Patty that was unsent, and Bruce is like, that's incorrect. So they're trying to, then she's saying, and again, this is a narrative that is being promoted, just to note that police say my daughter was so happy before he destroyed our lives. So she's telling them this is aimed at Jeremy Hales, by the way. She's telling these people, all of them together for the show, please tell everyone that my daughter was so happy until he destroyed our lives. Now, that's, again, where Northport kind of comes into play, because there were a lot of people that had concerns about what was happening with said child. All of that, again, blame Jeremy, right? He's asking me to call. There's a note there again from B. I said to ask you my number so you can see it's correct. Text him my number. I mean, this is a whole communication set up here, you know. 1 second. I'm trying not to miss any. Gonna get the thumbs up. Shit, accident. Oops, hit that a few too many times. But I think that was before he called. Listen, I allowed Landon to possibly record me, offering him 100 for the video of his call. So, B, he recorded me. Would I do that if there was something wrong with it? He's tried to talk down people saying that was bribery, you know. Would I do that if there was something wrong? Would I allow Landon to record me doing that? Would then hurt me if he shares it with JH? Please, already. You have P, absolutely not. B, you would not. Then here's B. Here's old B. I want that mother effing video. You know, you can see he's trying to stress that. He's being told, hey, take a 5-minute break and call me, Bruce. So here, this is something we didn't discuss before, but I think this is interesting. This shows them all communicating, not just in chats behind the scenes, but they were communicating through calls and everything else. Isn't that interesting? They think he's losing it. He's way too angry. So they're like, you know, hey, you need to take a 5-second break, man. And then call me. I said 5 minutes, my bad. But 5-second break and call me. He's like, not now. Then take a breath. We know urgency. We want it to happen. But they're like, yo, dude, like, quit freaking out. Michelle, text him again and see if he's planning to send me his Cash App and the link. Use your influence as helping his grandma. Look at this manipulation bullshit, too. Use your status as grandma. Use it. Maybe that will actually convince him to do this. Isn't that jacked up? The reason I'm looking at this again, like I said, when we read through it, we were looking at, but if you look at what's happening here, if you look at why this exists, live stream group, August the 15th, It's a phone recording. They record every call. That's what M says. We know who M is again. B responds. He said it's a video, like open air from one phone recording the call and the other with speakerphone. Anyway, he's supposed to send the link. Please ask if he's going to, or if he was just trying to just get me on some recording to share with JH, thinking that me offering him to send the file is something that could be used against me. See, you know, it's fascinating. Again, BBB mailed me at one time. Like, I want to stress this too. He wanted me to put out a narrative, essentially, saying that with the airport photos, that everybody was happy, everything was hunky-dory. Remember, he said this. Here, let me pull this, and then I'll come back to this. Just give me a second. This, again, corrects a lot of the narrative. When you start piecing things together, it's fascinating. Remember, he was hitting me up, and he was tagging in. The way I found out about the 2 L's was actually this letter, by the way. I'd never heard about them before, and I saw, you can see that there's another group. He was sending letters. He was sending me to this other place. That tells you, first of all, these are bad faith communications. It's one of the reasons I was like, fuck him. Because usually I won't show email communications. It's just even threats I've shown. Even then, I redact the parties. I don't like showing party communication. And it's not because you can't. It's just because it's one of the things I don't personally like to do. I think if you contact me, if you're doing it, especially in good faith, you disagree with me on whatever, I don't care. You notice I don't pull up. I get all kinds of crazy messages. I don't pull them up. I pull up a few crazy ones that are just nuts. You know, a lot of them are sent anonymously. You know, they send them through the anonymous mailing features. But this, like I said, I noticed 2 L's were attached to that. It's also fascinating, you know, when people want to, they do these attempts at intimidation too. You go from Tug to Mr. Lewis. I know who you are. Well, fuck you. I know who I am too. You know, it's like, screw you. Who cares? Who cares if you know? But you see the narrative. The point of what I'm saying here is, and you see this crashing down when they're talking about Landon behind the scenes. He said, you know, am I covering the airport photos? He said, I assume you're 100% certain the airport photos shown the kids were driven by Miss Preston and appear to all be happy. If you're certain of this, then you also know Hales is lying to his viewers. They're all happy. Everybody, does this seem like happy to you? Does what you've seen versus the narrative, does that in any way, shape, or form say these people are happy with one another? And yeah, I saw those photos, by the way. I actually, like I said, this was at a time that I didn't even know what the airport photo nonsense was that was being discussed. I had no idea about what was going on with that. I had heard the discussion. I'd heard the phone call with Landon. With the phone call from Landon, I had I'd understood that these people, they're saying, we're scared of John Cook. They made that very clear repeatedly, no matter how much they try to walk that back. They themselves made that claim, and they made claims about Bruce too. They made multiple claims about Bruce. And that created this weird damage control. They sent me pictures, though. Again, I've noted this before, but in the pictures, they've gotten them all together. They're with the kid, with them. It's all smiley, and they're like, look, everybody's happy. Meanwhile, this is the kind of stuff that's actually going on. I don't want the videos, this says, I don't want the videos being used against me, saying what I said on your property, and then you already saying that you'll just take me to court. I don't know. I'm going to trust it because, like you said, I'm going to take everyone to court. Doesn't matter who, anyone who goes against you in this case. Isn't that fascinating, by the way, too? You have them saying, I don't trust you. You said you're going to sue everyone. Are you going to try to take me to court too? Like, that's crazy, isn't it? Lloyd still has guns. He's been very rude to me. He hates women. This is M saying that. Called me names. I complained to John all the time. There's a picture of something. I have no idea what that's about. Better. He has guns right now. Yeah, but no, Lloyd still has guns. Wait. That was repeated. Trailer is at the schoolhouse, confirmed. So this is them talking behind things. Remember when they sent that letter over to Travis? Like, this is something I missed when I first read through this. Travis, schoolhouse. That's kind of wild, isn't it? So they're all communicating behind that. Again, we technically own it by word. We were buying it. He didn't pay rent because it went toward us buying it. B, it's okay. We can cover that later. So he's telling the narrative for later, baby. Another, again, voice. My heart goes out to him. But you're missing my point. I appreciate everything that you have done for all the people in it's supposed to be Otter Creek. I truly, from the bottom of my heart, do. But this group message was set up for us to acquire things that can be debunked on to leaves in. So it's debunked on. So they set this up. Here's an admission too. So they set this group up with the express intent of feeding 2Ls. So the whole idea of the media ecosystem, it's right here. It's proof in there. We set up this group in order to feed the 2Ls. Regarding Michelle, if there are other things that need to be debunked, you can always discuss those with Michelle and B. I am only maybe begging you not to do it here. I love that you're helping him and others. Here's another screenshot. Wow, Lloyd, what the hell are you doing? Here's moving to a more peaceful place, then moving hopefully to redacted within a month. Fix whatever was wrong with my fifth wheel and get out of Dodge. Then he gets back. You're an evil human being. The kids are gone. Everything was fine. And you sent the enemy. So you see this. Lloyd, what are you doing? I'm getting the hell out of here. I got to move to a more peaceful place. And then it goes to you're an evil human being. Why? Because they're the enemy. No accountability whatsoever. Isn't that fascinating? Then you have other pictures, with we can cover that. You have a side, this is one of those shots from then. I don't want Peter anywhere near my camper. Okay, he seems to be driving by every day now, sick. He wants to go in there and steal whatever he can, find my guns, the money that's left out in the open, $300, that'll be gone. And this says, I hope you don't leave. That's what we get off the top of that. I hope you don't leave. There, cash laying out in front of those kids. I hope you didn't leave a gun laying in front of those kids, especially a kid with anger issues. Again, they keep trying to get in there. It's his property. They're like, I'll let me in your property. And he kept telling them no. Absolutely not. And he is 100% in his right to do that. We have a link here. No, but I'm having problems with the kids. Landon is she accused, again, I hope Landon saw all of this because he was accused of being abusive, like anyone else that has gone out and said anything to HG because he was so abused. So he's abusive to the child. That's a claim against him. The shed is disgusting. The car has fleas. The kids brought lice. I have so much cleaning. Blaine's done nothing. Not even for Landon. No dishes, nothing. And it continues there. But doesn't show from Lloyd. That's a statement added to that. But you notice that again. Accusing Landon. Like I said, I hope Landon and all of that understands that they went out and they framed him just like everyone else. And again, I'm sure he's sitting on plenty of stuff that he knew or still knows. In fact, Landon, if you ever want to reach out and you ever want to communicate with somebody, baby, I'm all ears. Again, I'm not saying that I don't trust or believe what you say because these people have painted you as a liar. Maybe you want to remedy that. And if they're telling you behind the scenes, I find this fascinating too. There's note of him saying he's afraid he's going to be sued. Are you kidding me? You lived there. You were family invited there. There have been direct statements about you. If you want to refute those, reach out, baby. It'll be 100% me and you talking about whatever, and we'll talk about what's on or off the record. But I'm curious about, because they made it sound like, oh man, you're good to go with everything, and yet they said you were an abuser. So hey, maybe you too would like to reach out. Like I said, I am all ears. I would be more than happy to sit down and. Yeah, all of your statements have been ran through those other folks. Wouldn't that be interesting? I think that would be very interesting. Yeah, and this was all right before somebody noted, right before JC's release. Remember, they were noting that they were afraid that he was going to be released. There was also a police report done. They've essentially painted you all as liars about that too. So. So again, here, I did, Bruce. News. The CPS worker in front of deputies asked me to point out all the cameras and mics on the property. They were asked, she was asked, how come? Landon had his EBT card. So Landon had the EBT card. Oh, okay. And what's crazy about this too? It actually sounds like Lloyd went out of his way. There's the pew pew. There's a picture of it. I'm going to skip over that. Let's go back. Then it was dirt. Are we holding off on those Landon texts? They were not my diapers. I did not put any garbage on Dead Dog Road. The diapers were full of water. And B's like, I love to let them out. Oh, he'd love to let out the stuff about Landon. Is Shara here? So again, Shara, when they're talking about Shara not being an invited person, this is something I also thought was worth noting. Notice who they're discussing. Shara. Is Shara here? I want to hash out the Landon screenshots. Where is Shara? If not, I'm going to send them to the 2Ls. So again, straight up, I don't know if she's here. So you see what they wanted Shara for. Shara apparently did not want to participate like that. So what's happening? Oh, got to use the ecosystem. I'm going to send that over the 2Ls. Michelle, can you obtain the, I think maybe full audio? I'm not sure exactly from Landon. If he shares a link to the file, we can download it. And no, as far as Shara, I don't know if she's here. Michelle, can you obtain the full call from Landon? That's what it was. Full call. Which call? With JH. Seriously. Look at this stupid thing there. He's like, oh man, we need to get this call. And she's like, what call? It's like, with JH. Seriously? Look, he's calling you an idiot. I hope you enjoy that. Again, I hope the grift has been worth it. This guy. And you're like, seriously, are you that dumb? Oh my God. The text. That's hilarious. He can have that tonight. He needs to send a link to share the file. He says he has it. If so, we need to get it out ASAP, as soon as effing possible. If he's lying, we need to flesh that out too. So if it's true and he has something, if not, well, tell Landon I'll Venmo him $50 ASAP again, as soon as effing possible again. You know, it's like, oh, right now. Is that Gabe talking? Yes. Yeah, okay. I'm a screenshot, can't read that there. Whatever. Tell him he can have Venmo for $100 tonight if he sends audio link. He's losing it here. Look, Michelle, find the JH text where you were friendly about the leap pad. That's your proof of friendship before all the crap. So here, this is fascinating too. Doesn't this change the narrative? See, they screw up on their narrative too, because you have Bruce here. And Bruce is telling her that you need to get the text from JH about the leap pad, because that will prove your friendship before all of the crap. Wait a minute. I thought Jeremy wasn't friendly. I thought, in fact, in the narrative that was told to Shara, that Jeremy and George were horrible right from go. Remember that? Doesn't this seem to change again? This is kind of weird, isn't it? That's the way this reads to me. It looks like, oh, whoops, there's a big hole in that. I mean, my God, there are holes big enough in this that even Megan could drive a tractor trailer through it. I'm going to tell her that one day. I'm going to be like, Megan, there are holes so big in this story that I even think you could drive a freaking tractor trailer while looking for cows or bison or whatever you saw out there at the time. Oh man. I love this with Megan. You know, one of the things with Megan that's awesome is she can dish it out, and she just sits in there and has fun. I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's hilarious. So he's losing it. He's like, audio file tonight. It's losing his shit, man. Look at this. tonight, $100, landed. Okay, got it? Nothing else matters except that effing audio file. If he has it and isn't lying. Isn't that funny? That's great. And you notice she does like times on that to make sure, like, if there's something that's capturing other items. Then, you know, she played the audio to this. Actually, let's see if this is right on it. Let me see where it jumps over. Give me 1 second. Here. I'm gonna hit that. Let's see. I think it's right here. Shit. Yeah.
He says, all right, that works. But he also questioned, well, your lawyer is asking me for videos for money. I said, no, he's not technically my lawyer. And he's asking just to get your side of it. You said he used bits and pieces. And so he wants to hear the whole story.
So you notice that there. He's not technically my lawyer. Isn't that fascinating? You remember when BBB goes on with Veteran Nation and he's dodging this question of whether or not he is actually their lawyer. So what's the technicality here? He's not technically my lawyer. Not technically. What does that mean? I'm curious about that. Then, you know, she's noting again with screenshots, disappearing live streams. Like, again, this is what she's saying here. You look at the group. So there was questions about this going back. Where are we at? We are at 8:58. I don't lose my spot. But if you look, again, what she's saying, live stream August 15th. So she's pointing out, hey, this was all for a live stream for that day. She's like, where is it? Where did that go? What happened to that live stream? Huh. That's actually what she was trying to point out with that. There was some discussion about what was the point in this. Well, it goes to sometimes, you know, the old saying, you can't see the forest for the trees. I feel like sometimes that happens to myself. And when we're looking at something, there's so much information. This is the one thing I have to give Shara real props for. Her videos are so chocked full of information. You have an audio layer. The audio layers on some of these, it's multiple items sometimes. She's moving toward points with this, but you have the audio layer. Like when you're listening to that, some of the stuff that's pulled up in that, it is wild. Then on top of that, you have the screenshot layers. And the screenshot layers, again, these are well thought out. Like I said, I have to give her props because she's making multiple points and she's showing you things. There's so many, again, I feel like the use of bombshell, I almost hate using the word bombshell sometimes in live streams, like putting them in titles, because there's so many. Because Shara's dropped so many. Like you can go through there. I mean, some of these, they're just right there in front of you. But they're so easy to bypass. You don't get like the whole thing about her being famous, but we don't want to note that. Why wouldn't you want to note that? Well, because that admits that you are a public and not a private individual. Why does that matter? Well, it's a big difference. That's why it's a legal argument because it deals with the idea of defamation. If a person is a public figure, limited purpose, doesn't matter what type of public figure, but it changes up how it's looked at with defamation. You have the idea, you can look this up if you want to, but you have the idea of actual malice that is involved. Actual malice for the definition for a legal standing. Here, let me see. Actual malice is a legal standard that applies in defamation cases when a public official or figure is subject to defamation. Definition: the defendant knew a statement was false or acted with reckless disregard for the truth. So they either knew it was a lie or they didn't give a shit. That's the standard. The evidence has to be clear and convincing. It's required. So, I mean, it has to be there, black and white, to establish actual malice. That's why in Jeremy's case, it was so imperative to have all the proof that he has. Because it's another level. And the objective of the focus is on what the defendant intended to convey. Not how a statement is received necessarily, but on what they intend to convey. That's why when we get into the signs, it doesn't matter how it was received. Here's the issue. This is what Bruce is so fucking dumb about. And I've tried to hammer this point. It doesn't matter how many people saw those signs. The intent was to convey what? That Jeremy Hales was a PDF. They called him the Ohio ARPist. He ARPed my daughter. Again, what did they intend to convey with that? Not how it was received. What was intended that they conveyed. It's very, very clear, very concise, very damning. Now, there were people that saw it too. But the idea, he becomes fixated on this idea of how many people saw it. Well, people did see it. We've got a number on at least a few. But again, it's not about how it was received. It was about what was being conveyed. And again, the intent on that. And the burden of proof, you have to actually prove that that's actual malice. Now, the standard, again, you can look up other stuff on that. And there's a lot more to it. But that's one of the things a lot of people misunderstand when they watch public trials, for example. You know, when you have a celebrity that's involved in something, you have this other level. But continuing here, I got to take some time to read these. There's a thumbs up here. Oh, he says we can confirm the twisted T and shit later. He's like, no rush to send to 2 Lees until I read them. So again, here's the media ecosystem planning it out repeatedly. I know it's just a wonderful revelation, it's told. No, it's favorable to her. Oh, look, here's M, like, oh, I loved her crystals. Gotta get on that crystal grip, baby. B is like, they're organizing the entire Xmas for child, I'm going to say. And what's interesting is these people here, they're like, well, that doesn't do her any good for her bills. Not now. The grift's not grifty enough. The grift's not grifty enough. Boy, where can I dig crystals? Isn't that fascinating? What is that message there? I have no knowledge regarding the inverter as to whether or not she replaced it yet. I know you gave her the money. I don't know what that message. And then again, you had the Shara, they're all gone. I deleted it all. Shara knows they are not gone. And you also removed access to evidence we've been placing there. She's told again by P here, they are all gone. This is updated master messenger chat. Here's a statement here. P, I will be notifying B that I'm no longer going to be part of this situation. I will never divulge information unless subpoenaed. I've gone out of my way to assist all of you. Unfortunately, I've been pushed beyond my threshold, and while I wish all the best, I pray Michelle can take this man down. I won't take abuse by anyone. So it's fascinating that the breakdown in there is like, this is too abusive behind the scenes. I got to bail. But it's also, I pray she can take him down. It's fascinating too. Here's the thing. If you can't stand to be in a group chat with these mofos, you think that's abusive, try living on a street with all of the chaos. That's what these people cannot put themselves in the shoes of this person that's dealt with this stuff. Imagine signs. Again, they can't stand a private chat with all of this insanity. Imagine if somebody went out and put out signs in the public accusing you of some of this nonsense. Imagine how bad that would be. Like, that would be absolutely... the inverter and just 12 volts to 110 volts. Yeah, and like it's noted in the chat there, if only one or two people saw horrific signs, it would and could start gossip mill. It also is fuel for something. Here's another thing I don't think people took into that. What is the intent in publishing the signs? Is it so people will see the signs, or is it the intent to start a conversation in order to ruin someone? Because the accusations, I mean, then somebody could go back and say, oh man, I saw these signs that were posted. They accuse this person of. And if you don't think that's all it takes in this day and age to accuse somebody of something terrible, especially a man, then you haven't been paying attention. Because that's all it takes. It doesn't take proof, because the accusation becomes proof. That's why, again, when I rail against the idea of listen and believe, people say, oh, well, you're not listening to victims. I'm like, no, I'm not just listening to any random bullshit that pops up on the radar and saying that is somehow truth, that's somehow preaching gospel. In fact, I don't even like listen and verify. I like the idea of verify. The listen and verify. It's saying there's, to me, that sounds like taking it as truth and then trying to verify. No, just verify. You can't verify anything. And unfortunately, in this day and age, you have people that put out such outlandish, horrific stuff that it does end up damaging victims, where things happen to other people because people won't trust them. But is that the fault of people that ask for evidence? Or is that the fault of people that come in and make outlandish false claims? Because I would say it's the people that make these claims and make people not be able to just listen. I would love to live in a world where I could just go in and I could believe anything that someone said without having to question it. But that's not the world you and I live in. Not at all. So I have already left B. You can stay. I've not abused anyone. I will need to make a brief public statement that I left the case. I'll be covering the Otter Creek story solo. Best wishes. Then she's told by P, if my name is mentioned in any way, you will be sued. Yeah, your name can be mentioned. That's the thing. Like, you being part of this, you could definitely be mentioned. Here's another. Let's see.
Bruce, I have videos of the trailer. It was not trashed. I have video.
Bruce.
I don't know how to get it to you to play it.
Bruce. I love it. I love it. Bruce. Isn't that funny? I see. These are all pictures of the of evidence we've seen there. Here's another. This is the initial messaging. I have a story for you. If you call me, it's, redacted phone number. It's too big to text. I hope to God you'll help me. So this is how correspondence begins. With them saying, and I think this is an important distinction to note too. Who's reaching out to who? Shara is being contacted. Hey, I've got this story. It's huge. I can't text about it. I hope to God you'll help me. And she's like, yeah, I'll call you Saturday. What's a good time? Are you okay? So, she's given this narrative, and you can see it when you put together a lot of other videos, and a lot of other statements and statements by Shara and more. You can see how, again, it plays, she mentions her heart oftentimes. And I understand that. And there are stories that come up, and, when they first hit, like they really do pull at your heartstrings. You're like, oh my God. The narrative. And this is something that is definitely misused quite a bit by people that have ill intentions, I'm going to say. Then you had the photo with the body on, and that's that. But I thought that was interesting. I need to go and screenshot all of those too. I've screenshot. It's a lot of work to get everything screenshot in there. But again, there's a few statements in there that are actually quite important. But one of the biggest. Give me 1 second here. Well, I guess two of the biggest, because there were two big ones as takeaway from that. Number one is, again, her own lawyer stating that she's a celebrity. So he's acknowledging behind the scenes that she is a public figure. Like, that's his denial. Every statement that he puts up, I think every statement that he puts up when he talks about these poor private individuals, when he likes to post about whatever nonsense, when he uses his descriptors, I think he should be met with his own statement. Everyone should know, like he said, you're a celebrity, but we don't want to embrace that. We don't want to acknowledge that you are a public figure, because if they do, then everything changes. It changes the narrative. It changes it 100%. They don't want that. They don't want that at all. And of course, there's the other one here. It was the whole intent for why things were put together. Again, the whole intent of this group that they had was so they could gather information and it could, quote unquote, be debunked on the 2L show. Again, they're all coordinating. They're all colluding behind the scenes. It's the things it's fascinating, because this is the stuff they accused Jeremy Hales of doing. They said that Jeremy Hales behind the scenes was essentially a puppet master. He's pulling all the strings, everybody out there, he's manipulating, he's making them do that dance. And yet they're all in groups talking about this stuff. They're all promoting narratives, which they're forwarding this narrative to the PR. Crazy stuff, isn't it? And again, they threatened to take down Shara's channel because Shara, as part of this, put in them talking about her, threatening her. I mean, don't you find that creepy and crazy? I do. But anyway, let's hit some super chats here. It's George, thanks for 5. Tug, Lug, and Bug, love your family. Hey, love to you all too, for sure. I mean, seriously. We could do this any day when we're talking about stuff. But today, like I said, it's important. Tomorrow, I'm going to live stream too. because I want you all to know that you are important. You are part of whatever you want to call yourself. I don't want to be cheesy and hokey about it. If you like community, that's fine. But again, this is your channel too. I have a microphone. I get to talk. I am blessed to be able to do that. But you're family here. So thank you. Stick Print, what's up? Thanks for the 10. Any more episodes of Magnum DA coming up? There's actually, so as far as the DA story, I'll talk about that more tomorrow. Okay. But yeah, I'll give you some more updates on our DA if you haven't heard about that. That's oh, I love it. That's one of my favorite things going on. Again, I felt like I got a Christmas gift out of that. I never expected our DA to be running around. and I do want to make this clear too. Okay. And that whole, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I just briefly, I mean, yeah, I still have this up here. There's the DA for where I'm from was arrested, like I've noted. Give me 1 second. Let me lock this in. There's actually a report on this. You can look up his name, Chris Stanford, and you can find the report. But again, this is the DA where I'm at, the district attorney. There was a video that came up again of him. He's out, he gets out of his vehicle, runs towards suspects. Now, these suspects, again, they were dangerous people, for sure. A lot of people left it at that. You know, you see them running down the road and everything. These people, they had been accused of, let's say, ending 3 other folks. They ran over another person and more. So they were indeed dangerous folks. But here's the kicker, though. This was in another county. So you have random ass DA popping up in another county where he has no jurisdiction, claiming he's on a ride along, but obviously he's driving his own vehicle. He's driving there. He pops out of a vehicle, starts firing old pew pew. There was an article. I need to see if I can get a hold of that. My mom has the paper because there's a local paper. I don't get the local edition, but you know, usually I don't have any need to look at the local edition. But in that, you can see him brandishing a firearm, and when he's popping off shots, one of those went through a home where a lady and her kid were there. He's not a police officer, just some random citizen when you're in another county, and that caused quite a bit of chaos. He could have hurt somebody. The police there, they might have not known who he was. They might have opened up on him. I mean, it could have been anything. So, you know, a lot of people have gotten distracted in this locally because of who they were after and what was happening with that. But the thing is, he doesn't have the right to be there. He should have never been there in the first place. Okay, so in the community, here's something fascinating on that. His wife is a very high-powered divorce attorney here. I heard some stuff about, you know, he's looking at potential disbarment. This may end his career. And I'm like, man, you know, she's somebody that tells people all the time about how to take money from her. I'm like, man, he's done. He's done. This guy too. Again, the DA's office here was absolutely horrible. They were. I had to deal with them again. You know, I'm being vague in this because I'm not trying to get into that. I'm not trying to. I'm trying to think of how. Let's just say I've had to deal with them on my own. You know, and I dealt with them as a victim in a situation. All right. Now I dealt with the prior district attorneys, and the prior district attorney, I mean, they were there all the time. They were there for whatever, you know, when they communicate with you or anything. But this DA, man, they didn't give a crap. They didn't. No communicating, no nothing. And if you noted something on it, people would tell you, man, they may retaliate against you if you bring up what's happening. And I was like, that's messed up. So, if you have to, in a situation, typically you could sue a person if you ended up in a situation, but not if it's criminal. You are not. They get to decide what is and isn't a crime. The police, when they were saying, in this situation, something should be A or B, they were like, no, it's going to be nothing, none of the above. And again, I'm not. All of that is the past. That's not the situation. That's not what frightens me. Here's another thing. Okay, I found this out. This is messed up here. So, as part of litigation, there was a police report that I had made that it included a new phone number and address, all of that stuff, right? And the departments over here, when you file something like that, it's supposed to be redacted information. Well, I found out they didn't redact my information. So, I wonder how many other people deal with this kind of stuff. It's not a situation about me. It's just like Otter Creek. Okay, when you look at Otter Creek and this stuff going on, and you think, man, Jeremy Hales. Well, it's not just about Jeremy Hales. If you look at situations like that, what you start to understand is many other people, they deal with these situations too. And what are people? These are elected officials. They're supposed to be doing a specific job. And if they do F all for you, what does that say? What does that say is happening to everyone else? If it's happening to you, you're not an isolated case. It's probably par for the course. See, that's what we found out with Otter Creek. We found out that this kind of stuff has been happening for a long time. And if you don't have to take my word on that. Again, there's been write-ups, there's been documentaries that have included what has been going on. Levy County, man, it's a mess. My Adventures at Home, Bernie. Thanks for too. Happy, as I said, Hanukkah? Is it supposed to be Hanukkah there? Anyway, happy Hanukkah. Thug. Happy whatever you, here's the thing. Happy holidays with whatever you celebrate with your family. In this, the most important thing with the holidays is if you have people to be around, everybody here right now is asleep. I had a crazy day. They all crashed out. So I'm going to get woke up. I got woke up today at 3 a.m. Every 30 minutes. We went out to visit. I have a small, tight-knit family. My mom, my stepfather. I call my dad. I draw the distinction because I'll mention my father, passing away. And I don't want people to be confused. When I say father again, it sounds like it's not correct. But, there's my stepfather there. And, other family, we get together, we did something, but the kids were funny today. They woke me up at 3 a.m. And the littlest one, especially, every 30 minutes she would come in. I was like, we're not doing anything till noon. And man, you could tell every 30 minutes were torture for her. They were, but she's been scoping out the tree and scoping out presents. She goes through, we went to Walmart the other day, and she loves lip gloss. Like she loves lip gloss. And we picked up some Care Bear lip gloss. It was in a bag. It had been set down, and it was buried in a bag of just random stuff. She comes to me and she's like, "Who's this for?" I was like, "Have you been going through the bag?" She was trying to find like anything she can, and I have to give her props. When I was a little kid, I can admit this now. I was laughing about it with my mom. My mom and I, one of the things we would do, like all the family would get together, and we would sneak in with the family, like around the Christmas tree, and we would check out our presents. We'd look them over and try to see what's there. And, if somebody didn't wrap it well, we'd try to peek inside. Anything we could do without unwrapping it. it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was actually a very good bonding experience with that too. So I always appreciated that. And I can't fault the little ones for trying to figure out what the heck they get there. Happy Shaka Khan. Is that what that is? Shaka Khan, somebody put it in there. Thought that was funny. Sin, thanks for the 5 gifted memberships there. Thank you very much. But yeah, anything you celebrate there, again, I don't care. I don't care in my life personally. I don't care who you love. I don't care how you live, as long as it's legal. I don't care what you identify as, anything. I don't care. You're welcome here. I appreciate you, you know? If we can get past the stuff and appreciate each other, we could actually make the world a better place, I think. I want a better world for my kids to inherit. Maybe we can make something better. Maybe we can make places, again, if we spotlight the injustices out there, we can make life better for a person that's dealing with this, but also for communities. Communities impact other communities. And maybe if there's accountability, maybe something can change in the world that our kids inherit. It can be better. We can actually leave it better than it is now, because it is a fucking mess right now. It is absolutely a mess. Horrible things happen to people. Nobody believes one another. The internet is on fire with PR and other insanity. I mean, Sin, though. Thank you for the gifted memberships. I got to rant for a second there. Appreciate you. Thank you very much, Sin. Emma, thanks for the 2. Merry Christmas Eve for you. Indeed, there. From very sunny Adelaide. You folks live everywhere in the world. That's another thing I love about this. The first time it really struck me where everybody was from, it was during the depth trial, when I would have live streams. And, you might have 30,000 people in a live stream, and they were everywhere. It was just amazing. We can instantly show people, and another thing, like I try to describe some of the Southern culture you run into with places like Otter Creek, because people don't understand that. Like, people that are abroad, you may not have ever encountered a gun culture. You have to understand, like in the South, firearms are everywhere. They are part of culture. It's a hunting culture. It's also, the police are never around half the time. So when you're looking at this stuff, when you see like a John Cook, the actions there, what's so appalling about that isn't just what he's doing with it, but it impacts responsible ownership, because those tools, sometimes you need them for safety. Like, again, I pack a old pew pew every time I go out. They're crazy people out there. I have kids, I do, but there's a responsibility factor. The people, again, it's amazing when you think about this stuff hitting worldwide. Culture clash, just, it makes people look like insane weirdos too. I like correcting that. Small towns are beautiful places. Like the U.S. South it's actually it can be a quite great place. It's changed over time. When I was a kid, the stuff you hear about like online with racism stuff, oh yeah, it definitely exists. It still exists. Hate groups and stuff, they exist. I felt like we almost destroyed them at one time, but they've kind of had a resurgence lately. You see that hate just brandished all over online and stuff. But I think hate is everywhere. I think if you take the people that are in places like these small communities are great places, though, because you have a slower, like, just way of life. Like for me, you hear how slow I speak. This is how most people speak around here. They speak very slowly. You have Yeah, people, again, like if you go to Nashville or something, everybody's in more of a hurry. But if you're out in the middle of nowhere, again, it's fascinating just to be able to sit down with people that, I owned through my grandfather. I would meet people that own farms all over the place, and it's just fascinating to sit down with people. Like it's a different life. Nursery farmers. We have a lot of people that grow trees out these ways. Anyway, I'm getting way off subject. Thank you, Shine, also for the gifted memberships. I don't know if I said that. I lost my train of thought, but thank you. If I did, thank you again. If I didn't, thank you. Regardless, thank you. Appreciate that. And thanks for the 5. Thank you, Tug, for keeping us company tonight. Merry Christmas. Hey, love it. I'm going to do it tomorrow too. I will. Like the holidays are important. I also want to set a new standard as we roll into the new year. Again, 2025 is going to be great for everybody. You're all going to have it. If you had a hard year this year, we're going to make it better. We're going to change things out there. We're going to demand a better 2025. And we're going to build bigger, better, more awesome. Allie, thanks for the 5. It's Christmas Day here in the UK. Santa emptied his sack all over the floor. It sounds so scary. Or phrasing. No, but yeah, we have presents everywhere here too. It's almost Christmas Day here. We got 2 hours until in my time zone. Allie, thanks for the 20 there. It's not much, but hopefully you can use this to have a fun start to the new year for Bug and Lug. Maybe a simple family pizza party or something. Merry Christmas all. Hey, thank you. And it's a lot. It's not just when people convey something that they support something. The statement to her, again, I'm humbled by that. So thank you all. I appreciate you for that. It's big. Thank you. Shade 85, thanks for the 5. The holidays have been hard since my mother passed 3 years back. It'll never be the same. Yeah, I get that. It does change up the dynamic. The older we get too, you're either the person that people mourn or you mourn other people every year, But remember, in that too, remember when you sat down, remember to love the memory of the things that were there. And I'm not saying it's not, man, there are people like I've lost years ago, and some of them newer. And it is a hole in you. It leaves a hole that you struggle to fill. I get it. I don't ever mean to diminish that, but we do find ways to move on and to move forward. We don't ever move on without, but we move forward, and we can do that together. That's why we have live streams and other stuff where we can hang out, But I appreciate you, Shay. Kind of linguist, thanks for the 5 there. Most of my family lives 5 miles away. I haven't seen them in 8 years. Political difference. That's awful, isn't it? With the political differences keep us so far apart sometimes. Like I have family members. For me, I'm very anti-parties. I'm not going to get on a soapbox or anything on that. I'm not talking about that. But I do see where subjects like that, social or religious. For me, I'm kind of, I would be, the proverbial black sheep of the family. Yes, some people see me that way. I have a lot of ultra religious folks. And again, I'm not saying that I don't have my own beliefs, but comparatively, some people don't believe in music in church, for example, things like that. And if that's your belief, that's okay. But yeah, you run into that. I can imagine that making it where I can't have communication with my family and stuff. Like that's awful. Politics are a poison pen. Hopefully that gets remedied, man. Hopefully it does. Because it is. It's so sad. Frog Girl, thanks for the 29 months. Happy holidays to you and your family, Tuck. Hope it's a good one. It has been. It's been great. I'm making an apple blueberry pie for tomorrow. Thank you for all you do. Hey, that sounds good. Yeah, I had a great one. I got to eat little Reuben sliders. Like it's the most random. I like my mom makes a killer. They're like these little bitty Reuben salmon. I love Reubens, by the way, but they're little sliders. Oh my god, they're so good too. And oh, they make little smokies, and then also sweet potato pie. Good sweet potato pie. I love that stuff. You know, of course, you have your holiday, your norms. The girls, like the oldest, she she loves a little smoke. That's why we have little smokies more than anything, because that's one thing. Every year she's like, I've got to get those. You know, I need little smokies, little smoky hot dogs. I need them. I need them so bad. So she ate so many of those things. That is hilarious. But yeah, thank you, Froggy Hero. Brenda, thanks for the 10 for your babies at Christmas. I like the way you laugh sounds. Keep laughing, please. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. I try, you know, a thing too on the internet I learned is just be yourself. It took a little while to learn that, you know, people, they manufacture facades. They pretend to be things. For me, I wasn't trying to be another person, but I tried to be more professional. You know what I mean? I would just read documents when I first came up and other things. And I learned after a while, who cares? We live one time, have fun, laugh at the stupid, laugh at the funny. You don't laugh at other people's misfortune, but you laugh at people getting that karmic kick in the butt. So thank you. Dean, thanks for the 6 there. Appreciate that. Today marks 1 year since my mother passed away. Thanks for the distraction. Merry Christmas to all. Well, hey, thank you for being here. I hate that for you. Again, if I can say anything for people posting stuff like this, again, you know, as a human being, we focus on the whole, the loss. We focus on that day where we lose. And what's especially sad about the way we as humans operate, that loss is so tremendous. And it is a tremendous loss. And like I said, I lost my father, and that and my stepbrother. You know, I had a stepbrother that he was going to go to college. He had just got out of high school. He was, I mean, he had everything planned out and everything, but he had gotten sick. He was feeling lethargic. He had these marks on his body that it looked like little bruises and stuff. And thinking anything about it, they thought, you know, it's just he's just sick from something. Maybe, you know, he was active in sports. Well, it turned out they misdiagnosed him. He had leukemia. And before the start of the school next time, he passed away. It was horrible. It's horrible seeing that stuff. It's horrible just, you know, remembering that, because it sticks with you. You know, it's dramatic. But over time, you start memorializing that person I force myself to remember good things. It's painful. It is. I mean, shit. I'll tell you something. Maybe this is not healthy. I don't know. But like with Jeff passing away, for example, I still message his account here and there. You know, I don't know if that's healthy or not, but it does help me conceptualize the idea that, you know, it's not just the passing, it's also the person. Riri, thanks for the 2 there. Merry Christmas, everyone. From my family to yours. Indeed. Riri, I appreciate you guys. Y'all are good people. Very much so. I appreciate the hell out of y'all. You're really good people. Tease T, 20 giftos there. Man, 20 gifted memberships, Tease T. Thank you very much. I just want to throw that out there. Like I said, I very much appreciate that. That's awesome. You know, give me 1 second. I'm trying to check something here. Okay. Give me 1 minute. I was looking up something real quick. Somebody had mailed me something, and I was making sure I had covered that, but I had. Okay. Between T-State, man. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate you. You can tell I have a shiny squirrel syndrome. I really do. I get distracted in the middle of my live streams. I distract myself. Wendy, thanks for the 6 months. Thank you, Tug. You're awesome. Hey, thank you. You were awesome as well. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Kat, thanks for 27 months. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you as well. Appreciate you. Clara, thanks for the too. Merry Christmas, Tug and the Tugheads. I'm gonna. I was telling somebody, you know, Tug, that umbrella guy, and the Tugettes, that umbrella guyettes. You're like, wow, that's something. I love it. John, what's up, John, man? Thank you for the super chat there. But also I saw the 20 gifted memberships. You gifted people as well with that. Man, thank you, brother. Appreciate that, man. I hope the missus are doing well. I hope, like I said, I hope you all are doing fantastic. Appreciate you guys. K-Rab. What's up, K-Rab? Thanks for the 10 gifted memberships. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. I didn't know that. That's cool. John says, on a couple other channels I'm sub to, I found out that you can gift a membership when you aren't even online. So remember to keep gifts turned on. That's cool. So people can gift even when not online. That's awesome, man. That's actually kind of crazy. I didn't realize you could do that. So yeah, if your account is on, make sure you turn gifts on. You have to turn that on. Like, no, I think it for me, I don't know if that's an auto setting too. So just look up how to make sure that your gifted settings are on. That's awesome. K-Rab too. Like I said, thank you, man. Appreciate you too, by the way, my friend. Tom T girl. Thank you for the membership. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the membership. Welcome to Tugs Thugs. I love you to say that too. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bridget, man, look at that there. Look at this. Great news here. Bridget, bravo. Celebrate with Bridget, please. All of you celebrate with us. Listen to this. My mom doesn't have cancer. She got the news on 12/23. That is amazing news. You've loved your mom, loved you too. Man, that is a great gift there. Also, again, on that subject, go and watch the new What the Hales video today. I made it. I want to show something. Give me 1 second here. Please watch this though. I just want to give them love with this. Okay. What the hell's? 1 second here. I actually do want to. I gotta show this. I have to. Because this is, and again, there's a lot more in this though, and it's an amazing video on this journey. But check this out here. I have to give them love for this, man. Just one part. But again, give them love on the video. That is amazing journey. But listen to that part right here.
Since 2019, so everything is negative. Okay. Okay. So what do we?
Man, watch that video. Watch that video for sure. Like I said, I want to give love to Jeremy, George, everybody out there. Bridget, man, good news. Good news. Ray, thanks for the 15. What's up, man? Sorry, can't stay. Little Finn opening first Christmas, man. Look at that. Ray, man, love Ray, dude. Ray's good people. Very good people. I can't say that enough. Ray, loved that dude, man. Ray's the kind of person, if you're a friend with Ray, if you had a need, like right now, let's just say, right now I had a need, despite everything going on and stuff, he would be like, yo, I'm doing this right this second. Of course, you got your family there, but he would, first opportunity, boom, he'd be there. He would help you with anything. Good people, man. Ray, love to you, brother. But They'll find them the first Christmas presents. Just wanted to swing by and wish you, Tug, little ones in the chat, very Merry Christmas. Love you guys. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Appreciate the heck out of you, my friend. John, thanks for the 5. Here in Maryland, I don't know whether to wish for cold to freeze the ground or warmth. And the winter rain that comes with it makes my job money. That sucks, man. Let's hear. You know what? One of the Christmas presents I asked for, I wanted a giant heating pad. I got the new chair. Well, I learned one thing. The new chair is cold. So when I sat down, I'm like, oh, God. So I put a giant heating pad the length of the back of my chair. Before I live stream, right before it, I turned the heating pad on, and I've gotten a little heated throw, and I throw it on too. It's been part of my I'm going to say fun streaming. It's something though. Like this cold and everything is for the birds. Also, I have a giant gas heater behind me. It's an old model from probably the 70s, right? The gas company that came out, I have them fire everything up every year, just to make sure everything's good. So they came out and they were like, oh, this one won't fire up. I was like, okay, well, does it need to be repaired or what? They're like, we don't really know. We can work on it. I was like, okay, well, what does that cost? Well, we charge $60 an hour, and we can't tell you how long that'll take. I was like, good Lord. An open-ended bill? No thanks. I'll see if I can get that fixed. So I'm gonna have to fix that. But it's so when I'm talking about heating, like I've got a little heater that I put down here and stuff. But I have a giant gas heater that's installed in brick down here, and man, it's one of those times I like people that have jobs that can fix air conditioners, heaters, and the like. Man, love to you folks. You save lives at this time of year. If people don't realize, like I have a family member that works on heating units, and it's amazing kind of work there that they do. But this gas unit is crazy. Sandy, thanks for the 10 there. On our way to Olive Garden for breadsticks. Hey, enjoy that for real, man. That's awesome. I want to go back and eat that all-you-can-eat freaking buffet. It's not a buffet. I hate to say the word buffet. I said buffet. That's the wrong word. I hate buffets. Did I ever tell you all? Here's a random thing. So we're just hanging out, right? I had a client one time, and I never liked buffets or anything else, or any kind of potluck, bring your own food, unless it's family or people that I know and really trust. And I never liked that for hygiene. But I got a client one time that had been they'd been put in mental health care because they had found that they would have been guilty of something for sure, but again, diminished capacity, let's just say. This lady found out that her husband was cheating. When she found that out, she snapped. So she decided that for whatever potluck they were having around a holiday, I don't know which holiday, but I'm always reminded of this in holidays, she decided to grind up glass into almost powder. And she put it in her potluck food, and she fed it to everyone at his job because she was trying to get him and trying to get this other person. And after that, my Lord, buffets, no. They horrify me after that. I mean, they horrify me before anything that needs a sneeze guard grosses me out anyway. You watch little kids or people that are shorter, they walk up to a buffet and it's just I can't do that. Potluck though. I remember watching something on a postal worker losing it one time. And then right after that, going in and people having a potluck. And I was thinking, man, some of these people hate each other. They hate each other. So I'm not eating that food. But anyway, I don't know how I got that from Olive Garden, but thank you. Thank you for the breadsticks. Here. Navy Vet, love for the broken. Thanks for the 5. Shara is being like the beautiful snake the old woman brought in to warm in the winter. Snake bites in the end. Yeah, well, I think Shara is more like she would be, yeah. She would be like the she'd be more like the woman that brought the snake in, because you think, man, poor snake. I think that's what you're trying to say. Poor snake. Yes. The scorpion and the frog, you end up getting bit by him. And poor Shara in that. Yeah, indeed. I'm sure that's what you're saying in there. And yes, the snake, it ends up biting you, no matter where your heart is or anything else. You think you're doing good, bam. Rebel Bird, thanks for the 10 gifted memberships. Thank you for that. Appreciate that, man. Very much so. Thanks, Rebel Bird. Thanks you too. Mods, man, y'all do a lot of work. Mods, here's something. I get complaints about mods sometimes. Mods are human, first of all. Mods have bad days, just like any of us, but mods do a lot. And I hope people appreciate that, because mods are not a paid position or anything. They're just people that want you to have a good experience. And they go out and they try to make sure that insanity, it stays at a minimum. And there's a lot of insanity. So give love to the mods there. The only time you usually ever hear about the mods is when someone's complaining about something. But the mods do a damn good job. And like I said, I appreciate the heck out of you guys. I could not run a channel without you. So I do want to express that there. Thank you all. John, Tim Pool, and Jeremy at the Quartering have been doxxed too. Yes, indeed. Like Tim Pool, it was very, it's weird with politics and social commentary too. People make excuses for that. But Tim Pool kept having SWAT team, he kept having police, like huge police teams, show up at his place of business, his home, both of them together there over and over again. It was ridiculous. The Quartering, if you look at what happened to them, again, you like, you dislike, it shouldn't matter. People doing this stuff is crazy. Now, there's been, most of the people I know have been through an experience like that. It's horrible. It is. I hate that for people, man. And you're right. John, thank you again. 20 gifted memberships on that too, man. That is amazing. Thank you, John. That's awesome, dude. I appreciate that. Hello. Thanks for the 5 gifted memberships too. Thank you for that. Told Tug months ago he should look into getting coffee. I don't know if he ever did. No fees on like YouTube's 30%. Yeah, I've been trying to expand everything. That's another I got to set up. You're right, John. It's like I said, personally, it doesn't matter really, but I've had, I'm going to just say distractions in my personal life that, again, they're no longer distractions. Okay. So that's good. Everything is good now. I'm so happy. Like going into 2025, everything can go such a good way. So I'll be doing that too. And I appreciate that from you, John. I don't know if I pulled that up on the screen there, but yes, you're right, man. You're right. You give good advice on stuff, John. I appreciate you, brother. Rue Frost, thank you for the membership. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the membership. Welcome to Tugs Thugs. Thank you. Appreciate that, man. Or thank you. I need to cut the man out because I'm not saying, I say dude or man a lot. I get messages sometimes and people are like, you can see that I'm not a man in my picture, right? I'm like, my bad. That's just a comment I made. But yes, you're right. So I'm gonna correct myself there. Thank you. Heather, thanks for the 5. Merry Christmas, everyone. I haven't been able to chat. I wish peace and joy for everyone. Hey, thank you, Heather. Love to you too. I appreciate you all that are just here. Like I said, I appreciate you. And John, yes, this is a great statement. Jackass is like Johnny Somali. Have you kept up with him? If people haven't, that is an insane thing. This guy goes out, does the worst thing. Other cultures, and I mean, there's a level of respect you should show for hosts, whether that's in a person's home, whether that's in a courtroom, like we talked about, another country, whatever. You should respect not just the traditions of the place you're in, but respect the people. Individually, it doesn't matter where you are, you should respect the people. And that guy, dude, they just push it over and over again. And the worst thing about it is, see, this is one of the things I hate, like about it's not the platforms. When I rant about a TikTok, I'm not ranting about a platform. It's a culture that some of this presents. When you notice like a TikTok, what that's presented, like here with you see it on YouTube too. But there's this quote unquote influencer culture that is born. Like for me, I don't want to be a internet celebrity. Just want to talk about things I think are important or interesting or funny or whatever, and enjoy that. But there are people out there that, again, they're famous for booty shaking or just whatever, and that's harmless at least. But it's this culture. It's almost poison ideas sometimes. And then you have these people that will do anything for clicks. And some of the stuff they do is awful. And yeah, so like he's saying, they've ruined their lives by going overseas, using a selfie stick to film themselves doing idiotic things, offensive to foreign cultures. Yeah, it's offensive to their culture, it's offensive to our culture, really, too, because we know better. We know better. Darren, thanks for the month there. Any chance getting a link to your merch? Oh, yeah, actually, if you want, by the way, just if you want to look at my merch and stuff, ThatUmbrellaGuy.com. Very easy to find my stuff. If you just go to the website again, it's let me show you. I think that it's a great setup. Ray, of course, like I said, Ray, man, is good people. He checks in. Look, he put up the new video. Is the new? I mean, like I said, man, he's good people. He makes sure that everything. Look at this. This is what the man went out. I needed in my life. I needed somebody to go in and to make sure that no one could take my crap down. People just tried that again. They went after what they thought was my website host. They tried to change my email, it looks like, and the phone number for contact. But Ray is a smart enough guy that he's already planned for this stuff. He tries to. If you have a website or something, you need work on it. Like, he's a professional. He actually is. I make jokes about the word professional, but dude is a legit professional. Look at this setup there. I mean, look at it. Like, just admire this. And the shirts are in, or whatever. If you want a hoodie, like the hoodies, stickers. Ooh, look at that. I just put one of these on something, by the way. I was given a little humidor, and I put the pickle on the bowl. I actually put that on it. So I went in and decorated it myself. But I mean, if you look at it, like, again, just admire like this setup here. So concise, so easy to use. Look at the again, change out colors. Isn't that beautiful? So you can check that on ThatUmbrellaGuy.com. But also, I just wanted to give love to Ray, man. Oh, by the way, I want to show you something. Give me a second. I had to send it to me. I forgot to. Man, there's still 1,600 of you hanging out too. And thank you all. Like I said, I want you all. I like hanging out with y'all. Period. Like, I don't even want to make it sound like any more than that. But I also want you all to know that you are appreciated. Like, not enough. I watch a lot of YouTubers, and a lot of people never say that they appreciate you all. They never tell you that. And that's sad. I see people that like don't read super chats and other stuff, and it takes what people do for granted, And I know sometimes, like, it gets so big. Some people think, man, okay, what a thing to have, right? in life. Oh no, money. Oh no, support and love. Check this out though. So Dead Punk made this. This is pretty funny. Dead Punk, by the way, his birthday was the other day. I want to give a huge birthday shout out to Dead Punk Gage. That guy, again, you talk about good people there. That dude, if I ever needed anything, I could hit him up, and I think within minutes he'd hit me back up. No matter what happens. He's that kind of person for his friends, period. Good people though. But look at this. He made this the other day. Check that out. Now it's got the outline background on it, but look at that. Look, on the blue bucket, thankfully the cap's on. Look, we're winning the Game of Thrones, baby. I've won the blue bucket of thrones. Oh my God, that is hilarious. Oh my gosh. You gotta admit, that's beautiful. Cap on. Look at it there. And here's the thing. Like, he goes in, and we had this. Okay, so this is a testament to just how awesome he is. Okay, so we had made that AI background, and that's not good enough to actually use on merchandise. So Dead Punk, I hit Dead Punk up, and I was like, hey man, can I get you, can I commission you to help us? I mean, he could take a short way out with that kind of stuff, and he could just go in and clean up that. But no, man, he goes in and he recreates stuff. Again, it's super fast. If you need any type of asset for your YouTube channel, merchandise, and you just want to create something, that dude is talent. And I want him to know. In fact, I'll note this. I want to work on a project with him. I've been talking about it with him. There's a kid book idea. Well, it would be for everyone, but one of the oldest kiddo had this amazing idea. I'm not going to say what, because I wanted to get to a certain point. I want the other comic book. Everything should have mailed out, but there's going to be certain things that lag in the mail. Again, any strings hanging from that, I want to make sure that they're rectified. But after that, we're going to be working on something. It's going to be fun. But yeah, if you need something, like, he is somebody to really hit up and work with. Good people. All that came from Darren asking, by the way. Darren, thank you too, brother. Robert, thanks for the 10 there. Megan's in chat. Of course, by the time you read this, she's probably in bed snoring. Indeed. I figure she's up. Like, she's spending time with fam. She hated to she needed a break too. Like, we have been hitting it hard, We've been live streaming almost every freaking day. And I like that. I actually like, again, I like streaming with Megan. Like, she's a good person, good friend on stuff. But more than that, like, as far as on the mic, it disturbs me. As many people that she's live streaming with in the past, and nobody thought, hey, this lady right here would be a great co-host. Like, that kills me. She is an excellent host to have on. Funny. And I'm kind of glad that nobody recognized that before, because now we can work together, But it just amazes me. Nobody recognized that before. I'd seen her on other shows, and she's freaking funny on that. She's funny with other people. Another thing, like, she's not drama. She doesn't cause problems with people. She keeps things like if something happens, like, I know for a fact, without noting a who or a what, I know there have been things pointed her way that would have been huge drama issues, like people trying to, and you know what? She didn't bring it up publicly. Like I say, good people. Anyway, I just want to give her some love on that, man. She deserves it. It's funny too, like all those weirdos, man. You know, the first thing they did, because a woman live streams with a man, what did they do? They started trying to create just gross rumors, you know, all this other stuff, because they can't compete with Megan, especially as a journalist. Like, she keeps digging up stuff. Look at what she finds. I marvel at that sometimes. I'm like, man, you found all that Northport stuff. Oh my God. That's awesome. And all they did, they go after her. They try to intimidate her. She ends up with a lot of bullshit too. If you want somebody, like, definitely someone to give love to and appreciation to, give it to Megan. She's good people, man. Heidi, thanks for the 10. Merry Christmas. Enjoy the little ones in the morning. I miss that magic Christmas. Oh yeah, man. I love it. I love it. I know they'll be up. I'm sure one of them will be hitting me up at midnight. I'm sure one of them has set an alarm for it. And like, this is technically Christmas. Yo, Jackie, thanks for the 2. It's okay, Tug. I'll send my sister's messages on Facebook. Oh, I still send my messages. Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's, I didn't know. Again, I don't know with that stuff. Anybody I've ever really lost, you know, they haven't had a social media presence. I did have a friend when Facebook was newer that unfortunately they ended their life. That was horrible. But I mean, the Jeff thing, like I said, I still message him. I always message. I don't know. I know there were things like cigars. My mom, this surprised me today. My mom had been at I forget where they went, but she got me a little, like a mini humidor, like just one of those little boxes you set out on a desk. And that was kind of awesome. And I don't think anybody else that I know would appreciate that, but Jeff would have. So, you know. And like I said, that just happened recently. Love to his family too, man. I know they've been going through a lot there. I liked it. His son was on with us with a Lego stream on Megan's channel. That was fun. I kept having problems. People were like, why are you quiet there, Todd? Well, I was playing video games for one thing, but a lot of those were StreamYard issues the other day too. It was just that absolute mess, and we still managed to do a show. Man, thanks for 5. My sister was finally released from the hospital. She had postpartum cardiomyopathy. She made it home just in time for Christmas. That's great, man. That's great that she made it home. You know, it's complications. They come up. My wife, after our second child, had complications. It was crazy. She got an infection the first time, like with our oldest daughter. There weren't really any complications as far as her. My daughter had complications when she was born, but my wife had an infection, and it wouldn't have been that big of an issue but these people, they were awful there at the hospital. Like they didn't do anything. They were overcrowded, and you couldn't get anybody to listen. And it was, I guess, the doctor we were dealing with at the time, you know. And it was pretty awful. And there are complications after pregnancy oftentimes anyway. You know, a lot of people experience those. So I'm glad she's home. Emma, thanks for the 5. Messaging Jeff helps. You should do it. We all have our ways to cope with loss. Indeed. I haven't found a better way, I guess. I just haven't figured it out yet. You know. But yeah, I mean, it does. It's new there. That's another thing. Like for this stuff, it's nice. We haven't had a memorial. I want to have a memorial stream for Jeff. I don't want it to be looked at as people just trying to, you know, grift off memory. I would love I actually was hoping that maybe his son would be able to get access to maybe his YouTube and put on something there if he would want to. That way he could get all these people. Jeff used to be, one of the things he could do is he could take people that didn't like each other and put them together. He really was. He was a good dude. But nobody disliked him. He could put all of us together that had trivial issues. And yeah, trying to get that now, I don't know. But I'm hoping we still need that. Emma, thanks for the 2 there. I'll send some Australian heat. I don't want it. I'll take some of that right now. It is cold in here. I would take that for sure. Thank you. Frosty Pepper AK. Thanks for the 28 months. Merry Christmas, Doug and Fam. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you too. Thank you very much with that. Victoria, thanks for the 20. Thank you for entertaining us, me in particular, week after week. Enjoy girls. Christmas is such a wonderful family day. Indeed. And thank you. Like, again, I am blessed to have the microphone. I'm blessed to be able to come on here, talk about whatever is there, and you folks show up. So I am fortunate here. Did you see the YouTubers that were arguing about how their job was one of the hardest jobs ever? Or streamers. I think they were Twitch streamers, actually. They were like, this is such a terrible, horrible job. And I get stress comes with jobs. Yes, of course. But, I've built barns. I've worked in plastic factory back in the day. Those are hard jobs. This is a blessing. I don't feel like I work. So it's awesome. And I thank you all. You all make that possible. Mistress Loon, thanks for the 5 there. I speak for the Gen X ladies. Dude and dudettes are interchangeable. Yeah, dude and dudettes, yes, for sure. That's the way I look at it. It is. The words dude, man, whatever. Yes. I also have a 22-year-old young adult. I answer to damn near anything. I do, My kids will call me the stupidest thing. We mess with each other. Like one of the kids was, I don't remember what they were doing. Like they were shuffling across the floor like some kind of nut, It was like, hey, what is that? Roach legs? So, that started back and forth. They'll call me like funny things. I was like, roach legs. My oldest daughter is hilarious. She's funny with that. Like she comes up with weird, funny nicknames for you. I love it. Donna, thanks for the 5. But didn't you become famous during Depp versus her trial? I don't know about famous. I ended up getting mentioned in the trial. I think it spotlighted my channel. At the same time, I had my name and stuff put out. But here's the weird thing, okay? Unless you went out of your way to know it, my face isn't here. Like what I want you to do is focus on the words that are put in, what's there. That's the one thing. That's what I mean about like the TikTok thing I was talking about, this internet fame. You may get noted for doing something, but being, noted for shaking my butt online or anything. Again, I'm not dissing on anybody saying this. I'm just saying it disturbs me because there's a dark side to that. And the dark side are people like that Johnny Somali going to another country, anything for clicks, destroying culture, famous. I don't know about fame. I got the funniest story I think I have. I had a news agency hit me up and they wanted to do commentary. Now they want your face on the screen. And I just don't do that. Like maybe in some point, maybe I'll change my mind. But right now I don't see any need or point to that. I like being a cartoon avatar. It's fun. But this place hit me up and they wanted to do an interview. And I was like, well, first of all, I want to be able to record everything that's there. I'm going to put it out myself afterwards if you don't cover this correctly. They were like, okay. Then I told them also, you know, I use an avatar like this. They were like, okay. And I want it to be a talking pickle with that Umbrella Guy mask on. And they were like, yeah, no. See, wouldn't that been famous? Like, I wanted to interview like this. This is what I wanted my interview to be with. So I wasn't famous enough to demand to be a talking pickle and get on the news. But I mean, getting mentioned in trial, that's not something I really aimed for either. You know, I found out, you find out this this weird obsession. You got to remember, in that trial, we're talking about celebrity trials here, okay? These people have Hollywood endorsement. They have ungodly amounts of power. They have powerful PR teams that stand behind them and stuff. Things you face off against just being an ordinary individual with a microphone is insane. It is. It's crazy. It's also kind of fun. Fame, I don't know if fame is the right word there, but yeah, Don, I appreciate you too. I mean, that's an interesting question. I don't know. Do you consider that, if you're mentioning a trial there, are you famous? You know, the thing, like my name itself wasn't, it was just a platform. You know, my business was mentioned, which is kind of cool and weird. But the weird aftermath was, you know, Taylor Lorenz, who just got fired after she, you know, after the what was it, UHC executive, after they were, I'm going to say, offed by that certain person. She posted the information about the Blue Cross Blue Shield executive, and she ended up getting fired. Well, that same person did a Washington Post article that put out my name and everything else. That felt like the kind of fame you didn't want. Maybe that was fake. I don't know, but I'm not sure. Phantasmagorical. Wait, what's up, Phantasm? There's good people right there. Thanks. 48 months, too. Man, that's crazy. It's been, like, it's hard to believe it's been that long, too. Merry Christmas, Tug. Much love. Thank you. Thank you, Phantasm. I appreciate you. And Michelle, thank you for the gifted membership. Yeah, feeling that. Thank you. Appreciate y'all too. That's awesome. Tyler, thanks for the 234. I like that. Thank you. 234. Merry Christmas, Tug. Been a while, man. Yeah, it's been a hot minute. You know, that's what I love about this stuff, though. We can have a break there, and then, you know, people pop back in and out. It's awesome to see people again. I love it. And Darren, thanks for 2. Woo! Scored my Tug swag. That's awesome. Yeah, I appreciate people picking that up too. I love it. I love that we can create our own stuff and have fun with it. Oh, it's amazing. All right, it's been 3 hours and a half. I'm going to go get stuff ready. I just wanted to hang out for a hot minute. It has been a few minutes today, but I did want to spend time with you folks. I wanted to hang out, make sure, again, you all know that you're always welcome somewhere. This is your channel. You're loved here. You're appreciated. And tomorrow night, again, we'll go at it again, okay? So make sure you're here. No, again, I don't care if there's 12 of you that show up. We're still going to go. So appreciate you. And in here, we'll see you.